Hello, everybody. Welcome to Adobe Live. Some amazing news dropped either today or yesterday about Photoshop finally coming to Android. And with us today is Cyn Lagos talking about your works. Do you want to walk us through what you have?
Yeah, I think it was like yesterday I saw all over the internet that we now have Photoshop on the Android, which I really use the Android.
Yeah?
So I felt a little left out for a while. But yeah, my name is Cyn Lagos. You might be familiar with my work. I've loved being here on Adobe Live. I had a community stream called Medium Unlimited, which is specifically inspired by my own journey because I learned photography, graphic design, and now I'm aspiring filmmaker. So there's a lot of love in my world for like the design disciplines. So I love encouraging people to try different things. In this case, we're gonna try a different device. You know, it's still Photoshop, but in a different environment, which I gotta say was actually really cool. Like I've been playing with it and I was like, you know what, tap to select is not that bad.
It's really nice.
Like
It's
I
intuitive.
could get used to this instead of using a mouse or whatnot. But yeah, that's a little bit about.
Cool.
Well, I don't know if we can see my website, but I can share a little bit about some of the resources that I like to share because I was once also an aspiring artist. I still am in some respects, but forever a student. But you know, one of the first things that I learned was like online resources, take them seriously. So I created a hub on my own website. Oh, that's my camera, don't worry about it. So I created a hub on my own website to, you know, be that website that I wish I had. You know, resources of all kinds, places for you to learn. I have Skillshare classes that I would love for you to check out. If you are in the spaces of design, photo, or video, an AI one is coming up. Very much ethical, I promise. So yeah, check out cynlagos.com. This is the website. You'll find goodies, resources, some really cool doodles I did the other day for resources for graphics. So yeah, check that out whenever you get a chance. Yeah.
That's great. Well, take us into this new world that is Adobe Photoshop on the Android that is now available as a beta for everyone on Android.
Oh my God.
So take us through this.
It's pretty awesome. I was struggling at first because I was like, wait, how do I design in this space? It is ergonomically, like it makes sense because you always have this in your pocket. So I think fun is missing quite often in my workflow because I take it too seriously. I'm like, oh my God, business, business, business. And I'm trying to remind myself that you have to allow the artist to speak.
Yeah.
You know, so the phone is kind of a casual way to do that. That is all to say this.
It's letting it flow more.
Yeah, so I have some photos here that I kind of love the ocean. I went to see the ocean yesterday. We're in San Francisco, so I had to go see it.
Yes, West Coast.
So this is also the Pacific Ocean, but from the vantage point of Hawaii. And so I wanted to bring some of these photos as a way to create a collage. Wait, this one is the... Yeah, it's always going to be a collage. It's always going to be a layout design practice, ultimately. And so I think the first order of operations that I like to think of is try to get a wide angle, an image that can stand as a background image. So for this one, I want to select, I'm going to select this because I'm making this poster. So this one right here. So that's going to open directly into the Photoshop app. And one of my favorite things about this is like, it still kind of contains all the quality. You can zoom in here and I don't have to wait forever to like export something, bring it over to my phone and finally enjoy it, you know? It's already cooking here and it's a wonderful like, I don't know, experience in a different way. I don't know if it translates, but this image is a wide angle. So I mean, I know it's macro, but like it's mostly a patterned image. I'm gonna go in here and navigate some of these interfaces so we're not lost. Okay, so ultimately this is your interface and the first thing you wanna think about is that this little plus button right here. And that little guy is gonna give you access to different assets. So these assets could be images, text, it could be even Adobe Stock images, which is pretty awesome, I think.
It's amazing.
Because they're all free. So remember that hack where you can just go to like stock.adobe/free?
Yes.
These are all free. You don't have to worry about licensing them.
Exactly.
But you know, hopefully it inspires you to go find more refined ones if you need to, especially if you're gonna do client work. I always do that. But yes, you can add those images, text, or any other elements like adjustment layers. So any adjusting will be on that right-hand side. Down here, there's a lot of really cool properties. So ultimately, you get to see your layer properties. Does the layer have any cool stuff yet? Not yet, but you can blend it. You can create a mask if you know what masks are. It's probably like the best thing you can learn because it just helps things appear and disappear pretty much. I love that this is included already here because that's a big part of my workflow. So is blending. So, okay. That said, let's go in here and make sure that the size here on the right-hand side is going to be conducive to what I want. I want it to be a poster size, which I will be sharing on social media. So ultimately it will be vertical, but it'll also be right here. So you can just switch it and click vertical to vertical
wow,
like
that's
that.
instant.
I know, that was so simple. They also have ratios right here. Right, so they keep in mind, okay, you might do a 1:1, a 3:4. Do you want it to be for Instagram? Here are the Instagram ones. I mean, do you remember that time when you had to search everything?
I still search it, admittedly.
I feel like that's
always
aging
forget that
us
this
so
is,
bad.
I know, but luckily that you guys get to just see that all here.
I know, like, you know, I don't want to spend time doing those things.
Right, wow.
I genuinely, like, love just not running into any boundaries.
Yeah.
Because I think that's kind of the struggle with being on digital devices and it makes me want to draw. But this felt really ergonomic in that way. So I'm going to add another image layer here. I think this time I'm going to browse from the Adobe Stock that we just we're talking about so much. So my favorite things to find on Adobe Stock, to be frank, is textures. So here's a rule of like a workflow order that I like to take because otherwise we can end up pretty much anywhere. I like to say, okay, like add, first you want to remove anything that is obstructive, then you want to adjust colors and blend everything together, and then finally you want to add. So magically you can add some generative fill stuff, but you can also add textures. So in here, surprisingly, they have generative fill, so we'll see some of that too. But for now, let's just find some cool textures. I love anything, you know, paper texture or grain or halftones. This one has this grain one, which I think is pretty cool. So we'll add that one in there.
Yeah, wow, it's really cool. I honestly have not played with Adobe Stock as much, but being able to just find those textures so instantly and just scrolling
Do
through.
you use textures a lot too?
Not really, no. I'm mainly in a vector workflow, so I'm mainly an Illustrator.
I'm excited for your stream too.
You can definitely tune into that. I'm doing an Illustrator stream tomorrow. But by the way, if anyone in the chat has any questions for Cyn, please let us know. And if we can answer any questions about this new beta coming to Android, please let us know and we'll do our best to answer them. Same thing with our moderators in the chat.
Yeah, let us know. Are you an Android fan? We'll set up a debate over there.
No need.
If you're an Android fan, put a little robot.
Oh, little robot.
Okay, so now I've got a new asset. I've got this really cool texture. Of course, now I can't see my image. So right away, I'm gonna go into the blending mode. So one of the things I really liked about this is that usually when I'm looking through the blending modes, I have to scroll like one by one.
Yeah.
And here I could just like do this. And I can see them
And in auto previews.
sort of in real time. And I don't know, there's something about that I'm like, oh, can you bring this to Photoshop on desktop? Yeah, this is pretty cool. My favorite one, I'm not gonna lie, I've been using it so much, is Difference.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Wow.
I think there's something really film dissolve about it. I don't know. It brings me back to just like developing your own film, it was really cool. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I learned it in school. So I think this could help frame our layout design. So one of my favorite things I learned in school was layout design. And one of the rules in layout design is, yes, you want the layout to be visible sometimes, but most of the time you want it to just like sit perfectly, like you're walking into a living room, feng shui, you know, the elements are in the right place. So I like to create kind of like a base here, and that square is going to define where most of my elements are going to land.
Right.
If not, they land kind of a little bit outside of the bound, but that's a cool play. You'll see what I mean in a little bit.
Yeah.
But okay, from here, I think what I want to do, I'm being a stickler for the alignment. Don't know if there's any alignment tools now that I'm thinking about it, but maybe we'll cross that bridge in a little bit. I'm going to add another element here, and it's going to be, this time, you'll notice that if I click those 3 little buttons, which was my intuition, I'm gonna get other properties here. And that's because we're in the file. We're currently selecting a file, so it's gonna give me different properties on that right-hand side. And so that tells me, it tells me I can duplicate it, I can change the visibility, so turn it off, turn it on.
Ooh.
I can move it up so it goes above the file, and you can see it here. These teeny tiny little layers are just so cute. You can just go in that 3 little button and move up that file once again. So those properties are still living on that right-hand side, but they're, modular, because they change based on the thing that you select. So in this case, I'm gonna leave that as is, and in order to exit this and do the thing I was saying that I wanted to add type, I gotta just bring down that dialog right there. It's just the drop down. And so now we get that plus sign again, and I can add the type text layer. And lorem ipsum, forever and ever, whatever that means.
I just want to add about the fonts and type in beta Photoshop right now. At least right now, as of this release, it is currently using the fonts that are local to your device. So it'll soon have the implementation with Adobe fonts. If moderator can help me out, double check that.
That's awesome.
Right, it's gonna add soon. Coming soon.
I mean, fonts are just like everything, and they go through seasons, right? Like we have to celebrate the holidays, but also sometimes you find those fonts that really like speak to you. Like at least like 3. You're like, these are my go-tos. I want to make this look like a poster, so I'm gonna put Lovesick, because I've been like watching a lot of romantic movies lately, Unrequited Love and such.
Shout one movie out. What's one you're watching right now?
Call Me by Your Name is a cute one.
Oh.
That's a replay. There's something about the way they make the rooms so tactical. I don't know.
I'll have to watch that.
The house itself is a personality.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, let me know if you know what I mean. The house itself is a personality. I like that vibe. Like I said, I'm an aspiring filmmaker, so part of my studies is to watch movies, y'all.
Wow.
So I'm not sad about that. So here I'm gonna show you a couple of things that I got confused about right at the start. So when you select this, I'm used to, hey, if I double click, it's going to allow me to change that text. It doesn't do it here. Don't know if that could be like a future UI improvement, but here in edit text, right here, you're gonna have the second option is edit text, and that is how you change the text. It took me kind of like a little bit to figure that out. I don't know why, but most of the properties to change the copy are gonna live down here now that I have it selected. So now with text options, you were talking about fonts. We've got all of those really cool fonts right here. I have a bunch because just in general, look, these are my fonts. This is your fonts. And then recently used. So I have, that's cool because I always want to have access to the recently used. So I've got Big Shoulder, which is kind of a sans serif. We've got this one with the serif. We've got this one, which is a little bit more like humanistic, like you wrote it down.
Yeah.
Hey, that one's actually really cool.
It is.
I love how in real time you're just like, I sometimes wonder how I would sound if I was just talking while I was always editing. I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. So I'm gonna make this, hold on, because I'm like usually a quiet editor.
You know, something that really stood out to me while you were doing your text was you're hitting return just to kind of get that alignment, so you're not having to move it or align it perfectly. So I think that's so cool. I've never thought to do it like that, and it's such a great way to just automatically get that center aligned.
I didn't even notice I did that, but you're right. But you know, it comes with a flaw, because then now when I've increased the size, now my other one is kind of gone. So what I might want to do is like separate those two ideally.
Right. Or
just, you know,
delete the returns that you put in.
Yeah, and just like go here. You can also go here and be like, duplicate. I'm not gonna do this all over again. I'm just gonna duplicate it. I know there's something outside the canvas. That's fine.
Yeah. There's always something outside of the canvas.
There's always something.
There's always
Look,
something
there it
outside
is.
of the canvas. Yeah.
Hold on. What was I gonna write? Canvas for a second. Yeah, there's always something, especially.
That's nice. It reminds me of was it It? They changed loser to lover with the V.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I haven't watched those movies. I'm actually terrified of horror movies, so.
Oh, After Sunrise, Before Sunset, that trilogy.
Oh, don't. I love those movies. I have yet to watch that third one.
Oh
I don't think I'm ready for it.
You have to be ready
I
because
have
there's
to
so
be
much
ready.
dialogue and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, so from here, what I want to do is, okay, so I've got now assets. I've got my background image, I've got texture, I've got text. I can continue here and change the color of this text here in the text properties and make it maybe something a little bit more lively. And
Right.
I get it, you know, somebody doesn't return your love, but that's all right.
Yeah.
We can still be happy.
While you're flipping through some colors, I want to take some time and address some of the questions in chat and some
Cool.
haze. Nick Longos saying hi to us.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Hey, Nick. And Monica's asking if this app is still in beta or on the App Store. It is in beta and on the App Store, so it is available
that is
today.
Such a good
So
question.
you guys are more than welcome to dive into this app while Cyn's playing around with it as well.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the coolest part. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to tell people about this because
my
it was
gosh,
still like
right?
pre-release.
Yeah.
Okay, so from here, what I want to do is start adding elements. So this is going to be interesting because we're going to be using generative fill to do that. I mean, I don't know if you've used AI on your phone device yet, but quite generally it's a different experience. You still have to kind of wait a little bit, so chat with us and talk to us and ask us the questions. But how would I go about it here? So the main element here is to be able to use the select tools. The select tools on this app is really robust. Like I put it through a couple things and I'm like, wow, okay. But in this case, we don't even need to make a super refined selection. So I'm going to be grabbing one of these tools. All my favorite tools are in here. Quick select brush, lasso tool, object select, which is more specific to finding objects in your scene, rectangle, circle, magic wand, the brush tool. Of course, we've got to have the brush tool. But what is very special about this space here, what I noticed, is that you can also select a subject background or it pre-selects things for you. So you don't even have to do that. In this case, this image is not conducive to that because it's not a portrait nor like a specific background, but we'll be able to see some of that in some other examples. But it's cool to know that it just kind of automates it. So what I'm gonna do in this case is do something pretty rough. We're gonna grab the quick selection tool, and over here, I'm just gonna do like a quick drawing like that. Just create a selection. You can see it's so rough. There's nothing to it. My finger twitched a little bit. So here's the thing. Why am I generating now? Why is adding elements much later? It's because generative fill is going to be assessing the entire scene.
Right.
So I wanted to assess the fact that I have this like kind of cool, grimy, like gritty noise going on with, so I want that to be contextual. So in here, I'm gonna prompt, that's a funny word, a butterfly. I don't even have to write the article A, just say butterfly. Oh, okay, I pressed generate.
Wow, it's generating fast.
So we've started the gamble of like, what can happen? But with butterfly, it's funny because one time I put butter and fly.
Oh, you put the space between
like
it.
I put a space by
And it was
accident. So it was pretty funny results.
Right.
So you can see here how it takes into context like the background photo that I had. And all of these three variations are pretty doable, actually.
Yeah.
Like I'll zoom in here just so you can see.
Oh, that third one is my favorite. It has a flower.
This one?
No,
This one.
The third one. Oh, sorry, that one. Yes. I
one's
honestly
pretty.
love that one. I love how blue that butterfly is. It kind of blends in with the cooler tones of what the grain texture is giving us.
It's working out, but it's actually pretty peculiar because it's sitting at the moment on top of that layer.
Right.
So if I go in here and grab it, you can see what I meant earlier about like how it grabs that context, right? So you might not be able to move it and see it blend in, right? But this is a kind of a qualm that you run into in the desktop version too. What I notice is if I move it and just go back to variations and hit more, then it might be like, okay, let me see this area here is different. It won't be the same butterfly. So say goodbye to that poor butterfly, so don't get attached, basically.
Oh, he'll live on in our
That is the
minds
moral of
and
this
souls.
Love 6
Exactly.
poster. But you can see it blended perfectly, right? So
Oh, wow.
that is kind of a bit of a hack there, or pro tip. Even on your desktop version, you can just move that selection and just hit regenerate, and it will be mindful of the surrounding areas.
You learn something new every day.
You do, hopefully at least one thing, you know?
Yeah.
So this one had a few variations too, the butterfly. I think the first one was like, wow, giving us a lot of butterfly. So I'm gonna keep that one. Now in the next one, I think I wanna generate below my layer. So you can see me browsing on the right-hand side, the different layers, right? It has a bit of a, what is that gesture? You know, when you touch it, I can
It's textile. You can.
I can feel the phone moving.
Okay.
There's something like it's just vibrating. And so I don't know, that's something really cool to just experience because I'm typically with a mouse.
Right.
So I'm gonna go right below that layer and go to my base layer. So I'm in my base layer and I'm going to generate around that so that I can have it below it, and you'll see what I mean. So again, we're gonna go back to the select area and use, in this case, maybe I'll use a different one. I'll do a brush tool so you can see what could happen here if we use a brush tool. And so I want maybe some more flowers over here. It's looking a little bit empty. So you can see that brush tool was a little too intense. So let's reduce the sizing of that brush tool by going here on that tab. Oh my God, the size was like 800. It's like bigger than the screen of my phone.
What I love about selecting the size, at least when I'm on desktop, it's very hard to see how big something will actually be, but you're literally seeing in real time how big that brush is going to be when you're using it on the
I do run into that
canvas.
too.
Right,
like,
yeah, it's great.
There's a bit of cognitive dissonance going from like a computer to a device, especially if you're actually designing for the device as an experience.
But seeing it on your fingertips helps so much. It helps so much.
I mean, you might just find a workflow for yourself that can help you play a little bit more on your art disciplines, really, or you might find yourself like saying, "Hey, I'm actually going to use this to create my next poster that might, garner me the next clients." That happens all the time based on like a poster you were just playing around with, and someone goes, "That I want that." That has happened to me in the past, and I'm like, "Oh my God, who would have thought?" I was just like eating time that day.
But now you can make posters on the go, just like this lovesick poster we have here.
Yeah, I love posters. I think they're like a classic.
My gosh, yes.
Wildflowers. Let me write, and there's some things you can't multitask, like reading and writing.
Oh my gosh!
Wildflowers.
Don't talk to me about typing on stream of all things. I just won't do it. I can't do it.
I love how we struggle with typing, but we're so techie in every other respect.
Right.
Yes. What is the I can barely read, but it says big fan of something. You're a big fan of Android.
Yes. So big fan of, I think, Illustrator is it? Illustrator, but Photoshop. And that maybe that this app will get this person straight into using Photoshop.
Illustrator is pretty cool. So I get that. But you know what I like to do here? Oh, sorry, I didn't hit generate. But what I like to do is grab assets from my library also. So if you do create cool graphics on Illustrator, then you can bring them over here and, that little cool blob or whatnot. Maybe it's type. Maybe you created custom
same thing
type.
about Photoshop just as a whole and the Creative Cloud. You're able to take this Photoshop file that you're making on your phone and bring it straight to desktop. So whatever edits you're doing here, you can do on your computer and then bring it back to your phone when you're on the go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about multitasking that, but I'm going to go squeeze into these files on desktop and see how it goes. I remembered why I wanted this to be a little bit thicker, the lovesick one. So the flower came out awesome.
Right, it matches the yellow.
It matches the yellow, so we're doing a little bit of a color composition here too. So down here, the reason why I wanted to make it here, I want to show you guys, is this file now lives beneath it. So it's blending with that really cool grain in the back. I really like that. So I'm going to go with one more generation here. Again, we're using different selection tools. I'm going to just put this here so y'all can see. There. We're using different selection tools. So far, I've used the lasso tool and I've used the brush tool. I want to use now the ellipse tool because I want a pretty perfect circle. Maybe I'll do it around here. Now, don't know if the circle can be like any like more perfect. Sometimes I love the iPad workflow. You get like this extra button on the left-hand side to perfect it, but that's pretty close. I couldn't have drawn that necessarily.
No.
I think I did it too out there. So I'm gonna try to redo it. Actually, I'm gonna do it on this one too. There. So we've got them both. And I'm just gonna generate maybe, okay, so I have a thing for very texture stuff like glass, glossy, fur. I feel like that really works out in generation. So glass, see-through, bubble. Okay, so if the important part is that it's a bubble, let's put it in the beginning. There's something about that I think it's important. So like you put the textures afterwards. It's like glass, transparent. Otherwise you might end up with strange results.
Right.
See-through. What else can we say? Shiny. So think of textures like metal, fur. If you see something around a room or like around your house or something, take a picture of it and remember like you can always provide it as like an inspiration. And firefly.adobe.com, I usually do that workflow. But even then you learn a lot about what textures are out there. It's like, is this texture prickly? Is this texture so on?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've kind of, there's something about, I know we're all like struggling with AI and it's metaphysics. I'm just kidding. But like just
it's
in general,
metadata and technology. It's a lot.
At the core, I've been working with AI for a long time now, for like the entire year of Adobe's launch. And I think I just kind of follow a parameter of just like, just try to explore, be an explorer, and keep your own ethical like
guidelines
compass in your head, right? Like you wouldn't do certain things even when AI wasn't there.
Right.
I wouldn't Photoshop certain parts of people.
No, exactly not.
So I definitely think that curiosity has helped me learn more about how to bring ingredients into AI. So the see-through texture is kind of like inspired by that. Okay, so we do get faux pas, right? Like sometimes it doesn't generate certain things. So when something like that happens, you can always report it. This isn't like they're gonna go to jail.
You're never gonna see that generation ever again.
Yeah, never again. You're rejected.
But it's learning. The model is learning from what we as
real
creators.
People that we've met are looking at these things and be like, oh no, so something went wrong here. Why is it poor? Is because it didn't really generate anything there. But this one's pretty good. I wish there was a generate similar. There isn't at the moment, but I'm just gonna select it.
Yeah, but again, to that point, you can bring it to your desktop and then generate similar there.
True.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Right. It's this crazy workflows we can do.
That multi-device workflow. Yeah, so the generation, although it takes a little second, like it's not that long.
The bubble and bubble is really cool.
The bubbles.
Oh, wow.
That is actually pretty cool. The bubble, I do want to keep like the butterfly. It's a struggle, y'all. So I'm gonna delete these variations because I'm picky. So I'm sorry. So how do I deselect? So in here you have these little buttons. I think I've selected it. Hold on. Inverse selection or clear selection. Am I running into a funky business?
Let's see.
I think so.
Maybe if you hit home and then back again.
There, deselect. Okay, so
perfect.
no, it was human error.
Human error. Oh,
so
man.
I'm gonna add the plus sign. Hey, that happens. That just lets me know I'm still
right.
I still got a heartbeat. So I'm gonna go in here and here's what happened. Here's my train of thought. I really like this flower. I'm attached. I told y'all not to get attached, but I got attached. So I think what I want to do is create that bubble elsewhere so I can then like, make it part of the scene,
right.
But not take away some other generations, which by the way, I don't know if you pay for these.
You do not pay for these right now. So
wow.
Right now in this beta, and not sure how long it'll last for, but every feature that you see here is available for free. So access to stock, access to generation, it'll all be free in this beta. So definitely give it a shot to see whether or not you guys want to try out this application for yourself.
This is your time to
this is your time.
Send the feedback, be like, actually, I love this feature. please keep it, or this one I can live without, so on.
Right. But again, to that point, Photoshop, this app as a whole, is free for everyone to use. So please give it a shot.
Yeah, especially if you're. I know, like, a lot of us, we just assume everybody's a professional. But what if you're just starting? I mean, like, I would have loved to have this to just explore and draw. It's so I'm gonna hit generate here to glossy, bubble. Love that word. Bubble, glossy, shiny. Transparent is a good word.
Right.
This is how I learned to spell transparent, y'all. Because I kept writing it like P-E-errant.
Right.
No, like parent, like a parent at the end.
Watching you do generations is so interesting because, at least for me, I normally just do it on top of the layers whenever it finds its way into my workflow. But to think about that, you can do it on these different layers, and kind of even as you're doing it now, you were doing different selections for the circles, but on the same generation. So I think, like, in my head, whenever I'm generating, I would generate it one at a time. But to do it at the same time would keep that consistency, and I think that's so cool.
You do them all at the same time?
No,
That's
I
so
don't.
Risky.
I don't. I do it all at separate times. But what you're doing is you're selecting the bubbles at the same time, so that it would give you what would be a very similar, at least looking. Bubbles.
I think you're overstating it because it's not working. I think in this case, I'm gonna copy this so I don't waste y'all's time. But like in this case, I think that is my struggle because I can't copy.
Do you think the noise is confusing the AI at all into what bubble you might need?
I think that you made a keen observation, which I didn't think about, but I have considered before, which is like multiple selections could be a bit of a struggle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I noticed that. So I usually try to abstain from doing something to make, like, if I want a bunch of water droplets, I might do like 3 at a time.
Okay.
Then I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's something to improve on the back end too.
Yeah.
But there's something about that it's better. You're better off making one selection at a time and then see how they run. I know that you want to like just do one generation because it usually costs credits.
Right, yeah.
But trust me, you're better off doing that one good quality generation because it's still very much like a gamble.
Wow.
See, that fixed that faux pas.
Yeah.
So stick with like one selection at a time. And the other thing we can do here to kind of, we finally got something we like, is we can go into that layer and go into that arrow. That arrow is going to show us all of our layers. And it's also going to still have those 3 magical little dots that take you to a bunch of new other properties that were similar to some of the ones that we saw on the outside. But here, for example, I want to be able to duplicate this layer. And then from here, now I've got 2 generations. One of my questions was, if I duplicate it, does it flatten? Or do I still have a generative
mask, right? Yeah, generative mask.
So I'm going to go here to the layer properties, and you can still see that I still have other variations there. And so I'm going to like pick maybe that one. And the reason why I wanted to do this is so I can move it, and we can do that trick again and move it and scale it.
Right.
And then do that trick that we did earlier, variations. I'm going fast for y'all now, but more. Just I'm trying to generate so we can chat.
Right. So in this case, when you find the bubble that you like, will it? Oh, that's right. You'd mentioned that it blends with the background again,
yes,
right?
so hopefully, if my theories are right, then it'll be able to contextually notice that surrounding area.
Look at that. Yeah.
So instead of struggling with like trying to render because actually, I feel like that was important that it didn't generate. So you can see that there are other ways to work around it. Remember, these are just technology elements. At the end, you're the one that is navigating the tools. I know we say this really lightly, but in practice, that's actually what I've experienced.
Yeah. What's so interesting about your workflow here is that even though that the select tool is so advanced and so fast on this app, you are still finding ways to cut through and remove that malarkey, essentially, and just using the selection, because you don't, at the end of the day, for a bubble, you can just keep the circle selection that you have in order to keep making it, which is so cool.
That's true. I'm gonna change this font to something a little thicker because I remember I wanted to do something here.
Right.
So I'm gonna incorporate these texts a little bit more within the scene. So I think what I'm gonna do here, the malarkey, like you said, is because I think I imagine that if if this was a poster for like a movie, a lovesick movie, something like this, then you're like, oh, there's like turmoil and quarrels and something like that. So I'm trying to think about symbolisms that could help with that. So I thought a good thing could be like a little bit of a fire on the edges of the font itself.
Yeah.
Which typically in order to do that, I don't know, like my brain goes, is this vector? Is this? But you don't have to worry about that. You can just do that quick selection again.
Right.
That lasso tool, and no feathering, nothing. But you can feather, which is neat. And I'm just gonna select maybe here. And I'm just gonna say a flame burning, maybe flame burning texture. A flame burning.
Like a burnt texture, or do you want a
Burning.
flame on the L?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a different selection because I kind of want the selection to be the paper too, but
Okay.
not get rid of the L too much because then it won't be legible. Okay, so there. So I'm gonna say burning paper texture flame. Let's put the word flame at the very top.
Yeah.
I don't remember the prompts by heart, but prompts are so important. We can't dismiss that. Prompt anatomy is a very peculiar thing. I have a PDF on prompt anatomy based on like my discoveries on that website.
I'll have to check it out.
cynlagos.com. Yeah, because it is pretty peculiar. Like these are not it. This is kind of more a little closer.
It makes it look like a candle.
Oh my god, yeah, kind of a little bit like a candle. So I'll hit more. Let's see if we get some better variations.
Right.
But yeah, there's something about the prompt anatomy. Maybe my prompt isn't very robust. The key about prompts is that you do kind of want to say more because otherwise you leave it up to the tech basically to come up with solutions.
You want as much choices as
as
an
much,
artist
yeah,
as
as
you
much
can
as
to be
much
responsible for it.
description. Yes, yes, you're right. You're right about that. We also want more of that. I think there's a certain feeling after you're done cooking a meal.
Cooking.
Right?
With a flame,
Versus
on
just
an open flame.
on an open flame.
On an
So
open
I'll
flame.
try it again here on this one. I'll keep that one for now, but I'll try it again on this edge.
Yeah.
I just want to know, how are we doing with
I
time?
love that the AI is able to interact with what would be like the font aspects of this canvas. I actually had no idea that it could do that and detect those. Yeah.
Yeah,
And make those changes on
There's a
top
lot.
of the font. So you use AI in such creative ways.
Thank you.
In order to get what you want out of this app. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where you just, I know I say this exhaustively, experiment. Like I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and I'm just gonna sit there and I'm just gonna do this because I actually kind of begin to recognize, oh my God, I have forgotten how much I love layout design. I have forgotten how much, because maybe the environment that is to sit down in front of a computer is not novel for you anymore. And sometimes we need a little novelty. So a little, a phone can be a different environment for you to create. Android, what doesn't matter what you're using. The core is this kind of finger interactions, like so cool. So I love this already. I'm gonna show you the other variation that I made because I want to see and investigate some of the things that we acted on. So here's my other variation that I did, the privacy of my home.
Wow, there you go.
Crazy, right?
Which one do you
can we
like
talk
more
about
right now?
how this texture came in here? Because we've got a couple minutes left and I think I can show y'all how, but you can see here just by dissecting this variation. What we did here is like the same practice of fonts, adding assets like fonts, generative fill. So that heart is a generative fill heart. When you go in here into this heart, you still can click on that this button right here is freaking cool because I love that it still keeps the generations. It doesn't flatten them. So I can always, change my mind later and say, actually, I wanted a different heart. I asked for an anatomical heart.
Yeah, it has 4 chambers. Like, that's what I was noticing too.
Okay.
I didn't even notice that.
It's not one of those 6 fingers situation.
No, it's not.
Right? So like you can still determine like I want to move certain things. Like the butterfly here is also behind. So you can see how it blends if we put it here, for example. And so you can see the fire acted a little better there.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want to show you how to put that texture, that final texture up here, so we can make it. I think I'm always writing the line between nostalgia and futuristic. Mm-hmm. I think maybe a robot fell in love here. That's what I'm sensing from this poster. We might make a movie short, but after this.
No, we're going to shoot it directly. We actually just cast today. Ryan Selvey is going to be our main protagonist.
Oh, there you go. Best act.
Best act.
That's awesome. So let's see how we can add that final element, and we have a little bit of time left. So if you have any questions about Photoshop or the Adobe Creative Cloud, I love the Adobe Creative Cloud. It's such a similar language all across the board. Yeah. Drop those in, and we're going to be doing streams all day long, so that's going to be fun.
Of course. And again, we have amazing moderators currently in the chat. So any questions, they can definitely help us out there.
So we're going to go back to the Adobe Stock, and this time I'm going to pick from the architecture. I love architecture. I think I love architecture more than I like my pets. No. I'm going to be canceled for that. Because it was my first love. Like, I just love how much people, coexist with architecture. Yeah. And even here, being in San Francisco.
Oh, don't get me started. I love the architecture here.
I spoil my pets, I promise, I do. Yeah. But yes, it's just something about the patterns there too, right? There's something pretty peculiar. So I'm going to rotate this really quickly here. And let's make sure that this is above that texture layer. Mm-hmm. The reason why is because whatever is below it is the thing we're going to impact. So you're watching me do something that isn't possible. To drag those layers down, it's not possible. So what you have to do is click that button down. Ideally, I wish it was, but I can understand it's pretty small space. So let's just find that texture layer. Okay, the texture layer is right here. And so what we want to do is do a quick property onto this. And the property is going to be 3 buttons. And we're going to say clip to layer below. That's it. Now, you can also find that button right here. And of course, this time I did the generations on top. Try to abstain from doing that, but you can see how now it is living within the bounds of that space. Yeah. And from here, you can still continue to change the things within this layer, the properties within this layer. So let's say I want it here and I want to put it in there and still kind of maybe blend it with something else. I can still do that. I can still impact the properties of that file in here. Mm-hmm. But it's living within those bounds. So it's great for you to maybe if you make a circle, you want to drop something in there, or you want to drop things inside text. Right. That could be pretty cool too. So that's kind of how I like to approach things. How can things interact with each other? Mm-hmm. Can be a good way to assess what works for you. Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm glad you find it cool. I was I hope this is fun because I had a lot of fun making it. And later we're going to be creating some more collage posters. This time it's going to be a little bit more focused on type. So cool. We can play around with that later. But I'm excited for your stream too. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you. I think all the streams for the rest of this today, going all the way to 1 p.m., are going to be so much fun with this new app, because I think making on the go is going to change forever now that we have it both on the iPhone and on Android.
Yeah, and I'd be curious if anybody has used any design apps just in general, because I'm do you design on your phone? Mm-hmm. I think I find myself designing here more because I don't know, here or my iPad more because of that interactivity.
Yeah. I've found myself drawing a lot more on my iPad too recently, just because it helps me flow a lot more better. It gets you in a rhythm, and I think having that textile feel to having like an Apple Pencil on an iPad or your finger on this Android, I think changes so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the experience of being a designer, that's gonna change one day. I don't know, like
It's changing
you know,
now.
we used to. But I'm talking about the ergonomics. Like we used to draw on a canvas,
Right.
in front of a window. So I think that's something about the tactility of it. I don't know. I guess I got a few new hardwares in front of my computer that I'm thinking can change the game. I'm gonna show you really quick how just with a simple portrait. I don't know if we have any more time.
Oh, we still
But
have
I just
time.
saw this and I was like, oh my god, I love this little feature. So in this section here, let's see if it loads because we have 2 photos. We have 2 files, yeah. So this is going to be my background, my flower, and this is going to be kind of my portrait, right? So it might not load yet because it's coming from from the cloud. Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
I'm going faster than it, I think. Yeah, there it is. So I have this portrait you might be familiar with. I put it kind of in everything. But I took it in my garage because I made it into a studio. And so I love that in here, for example, if I have this image, I'm going to just turn this one off for the sake of this. And so if I have this image back here, right, I wanted to show you this one last selection tool, which is we have all these selection options, right? And I did demonstrate some of them, but we have tap select also, which I think is pretty cool because you can just like literally just like tap it. And let me see.
You know, when you first showed that on here on your phone, I thought that was somewhere in Texas. I was going to ask you where.
Oh, really?
Yes, I actually did.
Yes.
And then I thought about it. I was like, that is your profile picture.
It is in Texas. It's in my house.
I was
Yeah.
like, did you make the background yellow for your profile pictures? No. Wow. Yeah. That was
Yeah, that's
amazing.
funny because I always try to take a portrait a year. Not for anything. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it is a very beautiful experience to kind of have that cognizance with yourself and be like, oh.
So how do I get that like photorealistic background generation? What kind of prompts did you use?
Yeah, so
get there?
here we're going to have to select the subject first or the
Okay.
background, whichever way you want to choose it. Ultimately, you want to make a selection, right? So in this case, we have those automatics to detect the background, to detect a subject, and it also detected the subject pretty quickly. So I'm going to go with the subject one because of time. So here's the subject, but we're not going to tamper with the subject. So we're going to invert that selection, you see, just with that button. So we didn't have to select the background in this case. Generative fill and say a pattern. A pattern is a pretty key word right there of flowers. So if I hit generate, the thing about that photo is it's now already demoing the lighting conditions, even if they're flawed.
Right.
Like there's a certain, like it's falling off to a little bit of shadow at the bottom. So these type of things are instrumental, I think, to helping it gauge what environment you're in and what you're trying to create.
Right.
Maybe. I still don't know the brain of of generations.
Right.
Like,
Well, your
how
brain
does it
isn't
really work?
your brain isn't native code, so I can't expect you to fully understand.
I know. I was like,
what
what
AI
is
is
it
like.
thinking? Is it having a good day today?
Is it
Like,
having a good day
you know,
today?
did it sleep
Right.
well? Like,
Yeah.
did it
What
like
time zone is it on? Like,
did it hit the gym? Like,
does it have allergies right now?
oh my god,
Oh,
everybody.
dude. Right.
I love
But to that point, let's see how these flowers turn out and whether or not you in this photo
Yeah.
will have
So,
those allergies.
When people say like, oh, you know, generations, like, what am I gonna do? It's like, I generally do other things. I start to make tea, or like, I'm like, okay, let me organize my other files. I find other things to do while
Right.
these things are happening.
See.
If the generation takes too long, it might be that you have to regenerate or like your internet connection, things like that. But I don't know. I do dare say that this one's kind of like a long one.
Yeah, well, to that point, I never do it with patterns. So I'm always like trying to think. I always try to do one subject at a time, but to think that this is kind of taking its iterations and iterations. Maybe
Should
we can
cancel?
go. Yeah, we can cancel. I kind of want to look
see the
back
other
on
ones.
the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take for you to get that like essentially?
first one?
Yeah, the first one where
It
I
did
thought
take-
it was real.
It did take last time,
Yeah.
but I don't know in theory if that was if that was internet situations or
Right.
whatnot. But deselect this now. And so let's look at the variations that appeared in this one since we already, it's already cooked. So we're going to go to the layer properties and go to variations. And we've got this one.
Wow, we've really played around with it too. I can see different variations there with color and whatnot.
So it's loading because it's from the cloud, but you can see even in this one, there is some strange things happening here. So I wouldn't say that's the best one. The one that's coming up is better.
Oh, wow, that's really nice.
Right? So it's kind of interesting because, this is not, I'm not proposing you to treat this as a final project. It's just a possible like ingredient that you can use as like, oh, you know what? I wanted to have my flowers displayed in a certain type of way. Then I put watercolor in this one. That also helps blend things together. That one's really cool.
Yeah, it's really impressive how the AI is determining the focal distance between you and the background, just kind of from your selection. So I noticed that all these have a very similar like depth as the original yellow wall that you have.
To be fair, I did choose watercolor as a way to help it blend.
Oh, I see.
I noticed that if I chose something very strict, like a cityscape or something like that, your eye would be more considerable, like, oh, this is AI. Because we've all been, even if it's not AI, like, oh, this is not blended well.
Yeah.
So I think that this one tends to be one of the best ones because, one, you've got the watercolor, but you also have some color similarities. But you got to notice that the lighting is still very good. I don't know.
Amazing. It's great.
And if I want to change it to maybe like a different color, I can also do that. Let's hope that it selects it. Good to know that like the cloud items struggle a little bit. But I might do this, for example, for some of the portraits that I took of my friend recently, because I think that we weren't in a great environment necessarily, but the lighting was great. So sometimes that happens to me where I'm like, oh, I just wish that wall wasn't so like, filled with mess and dirt sometimes, So should I remove all of these things or should I just add a brand new wall? That happens. So I think that, okay, there it is. That's the last one. Okay,
well, thank you for bringing us through your amazing process between making a poster and then fixing up your backgrounds. Where can our viewers right now find you?
Yes, so the best place is going to be my website, and you can also find me with the same name, Cyn Lagos, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. I'm loving the long-form YouTube environment, so hopefully y'all can support my journey there. Somebody told me that 30-year-olds don't make it on YouTube, so I'm trying to like kind of push that backwards.
Oh, you better. You will.
Like, but yes, I absolutely love being online with people who are learning because I think that experience is so beautiful. And it makes me feel like there's purpose behind everything we do because I have generally seen some of my mentees like grow into like full flowers.
That's cool.
And that makes me really happy. So if you feel like you're someone who needs resources, find me online, say hello, and I'm at your reach.
Great.
I'm really not AI. Just kidding.
You're a real person.
I'm a real human.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Cyn.
thank you so
don't go
much.
anywhere. We're going to be here all day, pretty much till 1 here in studio talking about Photoshop for Android. So stick around and we'll be right back. Thank you guys.
This broadcast is all about all the cool things that we can do with AI.
Let's go.
I'm super
pumped.
excited. So here we are, we're in Adobe Camera Raw. I always recommend going to the auto button here because honestly, it just does a really good job. Just gonna kind of bring our color temperature up a little bit. We're gonna go into our color mixer.
Love the color mixer.
It's so
It's my
powerful.
favorite place to be.
You can simply click there. We're gonna start with saturation, and basically all you have to do is hover over the color you'd like to change, and I'm gonna click and drag it to the right or the left, and this is going to just affect the saturation of that color, which is so nice. So we're gonna go to our masking over here on the right-hand side, and I'm just gonna go ahead and mask out our sky. Here I can adjust all of these settings. And one of the things that I like to do a lot is just go to my color temperature slider and pull this towards blue a little bit. It'll just make the sky a little bit more blue. So when you're in Photoshop, right here on the very bottom, it's gonna say open in Photoshop as a smart object. This one is super important because if you open this up as a smart object, you can always get back to Camera Raw. If you don't have this checked, it'll just say open, but right now it says open object. That's how you know it's like the setting that I prefer. So we're gonna hit open object and you're gonna see it just opens here in Photoshop. All I have to do is double click right here on this layer and I'm back into Adobe Camera Raw. I create another mask here. We'll do a linear gradient, and I'll just go from the bottom up. And then I could work on my exposure, make it brighter or darker in my foreground. And we'll hit OK, and then it makes those changes automatically, and we're back here in Photoshop. So opening it as a smart object is just a super, super good hit that will allow you to kind of go back and forth. I want to just remove this guy, right? I love the new selection brush tool. It's located with your lasso tool. All you have to do is click and paint over the area that you'd like to select, which opens up the option for a generative fill. Select an object. You don't have to be like super precise. You just have to go back to your original point. It'll fill in this whole area for you, and then you're ready to go. You just hit generative fill. There we go. So I'm just gonna extend our crop out to the right-hand side. With your crop tool, just make sure you go to generative expand and then click on this checkbox, and it's gonna go ahead and generate. Now keep in mind, it doesn't know that this is the Golden Gate Bridge. It's just gonna make whatever it thinks should be there. Honestly, that's kind of perfect.
Let's go.
Yeah. If you ever want to upscale or increase the resolution of your generative expand, you can do that. Just be sure to click on this button here. It's the enhanced details button, and we've increased the details there. But now, as you can see, I have this removed. I have some generative expand in there. So we have a new layer here. We're gonna go to image, and then down here to apply image. This is the greatest tool in Photoshop. If you want to do a liquefy, if you want to do a filter, if you want to do anything to your image after you've made an adjustments, what this is going to do is it's going to take a snapshot of everything you see, and it's going to put it on a new layer. Hit OK. There we are. So from here, I can and then go back. I can go to filter, go to camera raw filter, and then here we go. Look at this. I have all of my Lightroom adjustments here in Photoshop. So we're gonna go ahead and create a mask. I'm just gonna create a radial gradient. We're gonna click and drag out, and then I'm just gonna bring my exposure up just a little bit in this area. And then here we can see that's the before and after we just did that. A really great workflow if you wanna get back into Adobe Camera Raw at any time. All right, our next example, we're gonna get a little bit more whimsical. Let's add like a little bird here. And I just typed in red cardinal bird, and there we go. We're gonna add a wolf, why not, right? Okay, this is my outline for a wolf, right? We're gonna see what it does with that. That's a good looking, scary wolf right there. Let's add like a little bunny rabbit here, right? All right, let's type in bunny rabbit.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
So cute, and it looks great.
They look really good. We're gonna add some snow to this photograph. I'm going to just use my lasso tool, and I'm gonna make what looks like a piece of snow. Now I'm on a new layer. I'm gonna go to edit, and we're gonna go down to fill, and I'm just gonna fill this with black. So we're gonna go to filter, blur, and we're gonna go to motion blur. There we go. So let's go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. There we go. I'm gonna create a new layer. We're gonna put it underneath here, and I'm just going to make this layer. There we go. We're going to fill this layer with white. I just go to edit up here at the top, and we go to define brush preset. Go to window, and then down to our brush settings. We're gonna turn that on, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn this size jitter all the way up. Turn this on. And then here where it says both axes, we're gonna scatter, and I'm gonna bring this all the way up by going to our brush tip shape. And then here where it says spacing, we're just gonna increase the spacing. And look at this, it's gonna spread those out a little bit more. We're gonna go to where it says transfer. I'm gonna turn that on, and then we're gonna turn on where it says opacity jitter. And then,
hello everyone, and welcome back. My name is Megan Billy. I am part of the Adobe Live team, and I am so excited to be here with Matthew. Matthew, hi.
Hi
How are ya?
everyone. I was the host for our last stream.
You're back.
I am back. I am back in the guest chair. But I am normally a vector illustrator. I normally live in Adobe Illustrator on my MacBook. So I normally do poster design. So if we can take it to my portfolio site, I can show you guys more of what I do. So in my day-to-day life, I am kind of a creative in all ways. I love making things, but I also love being part of some great things. I've been fortunate enough to do stuff with Disney, with Adobe, and even like my own work. Thank
Little
you.
guy.
Little guys all running around, but I love vector illustration. I started in, I think, 2018 now, and I've been following it through with it every day, and I'm always kind of about improving my work and always adding more things on. So that's fan art that you see there, or even small poster works that you see here. But to that point, I love assembling posters. It is my love language. It is a way that I tell a story about a location, and I love, to that point, travel posters. So you can kind of see here in these posters, it's all inspired by different locations that I've been to, or even different shows. I'm a big Only Murders in the Building fan.
Ooh,
so, oh my gosh, I love it. I can't wait for season 4 to come out. But yeah, I love vector illustrating. But now that we have Adobe Photoshop on not just the iPhone, but the Android, now I don't have to wait to go home to make a poster. I can kind of just do that on my phone. That's so great.
Amazing. What a great intro to our session today. Didn't even
you.
have to do this hosting job. You got it all.
No, but
Before you jump in, I want to say that we are live. Some people are asking in the chats if today is all about Android, which is a great question. Yes, Matthew is going to be designing on his Android phone that we'll show you in our little overhead cam in a second.
Yes.
We'll be jumping. Nope, we're putting the laptop away. We're just going to be working on the phone, which is awesome. This app is now available on iPhone and in beta on Android. So today we'll be showing the Android app, but just know if you have an iPhone, you are able to go ahead and download that app now, and it will look very similar. So anything we teach you today, you can also apply to your Android app, and maybe even some skills on the desktop as well.
Yeah, so
Okay, what are we doing exactly?
So we're gonna jump straight into this beta app right here.
Let's go.
Let's see. I'm going to hit new blank canvas, and obviously there's so many things we can choose from, but I think I'm going to go for maybe an Instagram portrait mode. So as you can see, there are so many different sizing variants that you can do on here. So you can pretty much post for socials, everything. You can do it on your phone here.
That's great because like you're consuming social on your phone,
right, yeah.
so it makes sense to make it on your phone.
So for framing purposes, I think it'll be easiest for me to do a portrait mode.
Okay.
Let's see. So this will be pretty much, it's vertical for Instagram. You don't have to look up these dimensions anymore. I think, no, I don't even have it memorized.
I think it's 4x5.
Is it 4x5? Oh, you remember the ratio.
No,
See,
I think.
Yeah, so there are so many different options we can choose from. We can start from stock, or we can start straight from our photos here local to this Android. So I'm just gonna hit image layer there, and already there's a wide variety of options between Adobe Stock. We can browse files on this device. We can take a photo right now, or we can just go to add photos. Let's see, we have our local photos stored here. Let's see, there's this one picture, or this one mural I saw in San Diego not too long ago, and I love travel posters, and this here is specifically about a destination, but it's telling a story through that destination.
Totally.
So
This is our inspo pic?
Yes, this is our inspo pic, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna be using this directly, but in that same city, let's see, I'm going to...
Wait, are you from San Diego?
No, my girlfriend lives there.
Okay,
so
and
I'm
you
there.
are in LA, right?
I am in LA,
Okay.
yes. So I'm constantly in San Diego going between the two. So
If you're in LA or San Diego, drop a,
yes.
I don't know, what should they
drop a palm tree.
palm tree, yeah, in the chat.
Exactly, yeah. So let's see.
Okay,
I am
so we're
going
taking
to...
that inspo and
Yes.
starting from photos that you made or you took, or starting
Yeah, we're gonna
from
start from
stock
photos that I took,
Okay.
and let's see. I'm gonna hit this image layer here. I'm gonna add photos. Something that I saw in San Diego was this beautiful like fog offset on the
Ooh,
ocean.
yeah.
It doesn't even look like the ocean. It just kind of looks like a cloud ocean. So I think it'd be so cool to do something similar of a cityscape in the background.
Ooh, I
we
love
have
it.
a
I already
ship.
see it in my
yeah,
head.
you see it in your head. We have a ship in the clouds that's flying through them. I just think that would be so cool. And then maybe adding some little bits of transportation here to kind of talk about, it's the power of travel. So I'm going to kind of just resize this image really quickly just so that it kind of fills out our canvas. Maybe I'll center the sun, but I don't even know if I'll need it. So what I'll do here now is I'm going to create a mask. So I want to get rid of the sky because I think I want to replace it later. So let's see.
So what did you do to create a mask?
What did I do? I hit create a mask after I hit my image, which is
you hit the button that says create a mask.
So great. But if
Easy,
anyone
okay.
has any questions about what I'm kind of doing here, and maybe if I'm going too fast or too slow, definitely let us know in the chat, and we'll bring that up and we'll answer those questions.
We got the chat up, so
Exactly.
please
so
drop it in.
A great feature that I love about this is tap to select, and see it's already selecting different parts that we may need. So let's see, it's selecting. It can select the grass, right? Not the grass, the foliage right there. It can even, I think it's detecting the sun, which is crazy, but it isn't detecting what I'm kind of looking for here, and that's the clouds. So I'm going to actually get rid of tap select. So I'm going to my quick select brush.
Okay.
So then I can just kind of resize the brush as you see here. Oh my gosh, that's so great. But I can keep it at 100%, and let's see the size. I can make that a lot bigger because I want all of those clouds. So actually I'm going to get rid of this sun selection right here. And I kind of want to keep the foliage. Maybe I'll get rid of it. We'll see.
Okay. So
So
basically just the bottom half of the image.
Bottom
you
half
want
of the
to
image, and almost that instant I have
It did a
most of
really
what I'm
good
looking.
job.
Yeah, it did
Yeah.
a great job. So I'm going to, oh, I can hit undo, thankfully. And I'm going to just decrease the size of this brush. So let's see. Going back, just because I want to get this finer detail here, I can zoom in to do that. Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's so crazy you're doing this all on your phone.
I know. Oh my gosh. I'm actually kind of terrible at Photoshop on desktop.
I don't believe that, but okay.
No, I am. The reason why I am primarily an illustrator is because I was like 5, or I wasn't 5. I was like in 2nd grade trying to use Photoshop. And I was like, this isn't working out, so I stopped using it for a while. And then I only picked it back up for work, and now I've been using it ever since. But let's see.
Yeah, that's what I love about the app too, is that it like makes it easier to digest a little bit when you're just getting started.
Right.
If you were just jumping into Photoshop, like myself,
Yeah.
I'm also very bad at Photoshop, but I can do it on the phone
Yeah.
because it's like intuitive to what I always do on the phone.
Yes,
You know.
it is
Okay.
so great. But yeah, we have our cloud C selected here, which is really nice. And let's see if I have any photos from any of my recent roundabouts. Maybe I can. Maybe this will be nice. Let's just see it in the background. And again, these colors I'll fix in post.
That's a gorgeous photo. Did you take that too?
Yeah, I did. These are, I think most of these are taken on, funnily enough, my iPhone. But let's see, I can move this layer down here. So if I select this, I can move that layer down. Oh, that's really cool.
Wait, that's something I'm super curious about in the chat. Are you iPhone or Android? Like I said, this is available on both. So not a competition, but drop in the chat whether you're iPhone or Android.
Right. I think I'll leave this here
looks good.
for a second. I kind of like these big clouds at play, but maybe I'll replace it in the future. We will see. And again, these colors are kind of all over the place. We'll try to tighten it later closer to the end of this stream, but I am notoriously bad at colors. So it takes me a while to really sink those in, but let's see. What else can we add in from here? Oh, I love mountains. I kind of just do. So I'm going to create a mask here, again, by hitting select area. And I think, oh, it's showing me some tips. Oh wait, that's super cool. So anyone starting out, they'll show you exactly how to use it. So it'll be a great starter. Let's see, I'm gonna hit select. And does it give me what I want? Oh my gosh, it does. So
Ooh, that was really good.
apply, oh, that's really cool. And I'm going to just move this kind of in the back. So if I select this again, right
You
here.
can move it down.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, I just hit back. That's on me. Let's see, okay.
Ooh, we've got some iPhone users that take and edit all of their photos on their phone.
Right.
Nice. And then we have some split households where one of the spouses is a photographer and has an Android, and the other is a designer and has an iPhone.
Okay, I've since
a creative family.
I've dropped the hill in the back because I think I want to try to blend these two pictures together. I want to put that hillside behind the water and the ship.
Ooh, okay.
So what I'm going to do is...
But keep the sky.
I want to keep the sky. I want to keep all parts of that composition. I just want to split it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. Let's see, I'm going to hit duplicate layer. I'm going to move one of these back here. So I'm going to, again, kind of go in here and, oops, let's see. I am very bad with technology in all shapes and sizes.
I don't think so because you're literally photo compositing on your phone, which is like
that's true. That's true. You
crazy.
You're allowed to be bad with technology now because it's that simple.
Like, tell us 10 years ago we were going to be
exactly
photo compositing with our phones.
Oh wow, you can even merge visible on this. That is honestly really cool. Let's see. I'm going to. oh, I can just select straight here,
Okay.
and I'm going to move this one down,
So you're just
and
playing
then
around.
one down, right?
layers.
Just to understand my layers. I want to put one of these ships here from the sunset and the ship in the ocean. I want to put that behind the mountain, so then I can kind of play around with my select functions there. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to drop one down, and then drop one down, and then that should give me the layers I'm looking for. So it's kind of sandwiched between. So now I'm going to select the ocean and the water here, and that should be everything that I need to do with that to get that effect that I'm looking for. So let's see, I'm going to select the ocean, and I'm going to select the ship. So that gives me pretty much the mask that I want. So I'm going to hit create mask. I'm going to hit that check mark. Boom.
That is so crazy.
You can see that ship back there. You can see the mountains, and then you can see the clouds. And then because it's in the background, I can kind of just move this back up. Let's see. If I hit select, I'm going to just move this. Oh, you can see the ship. Yeah, that's what we get. So we have this beautiful environment here of these trees in the foreground, not quite blurred, this sea of fog, the ship in the background, these beautiful mountains of these pine trees and the snow in the back, and these beautiful wispy clouds.
It almost looks like you just created like a lake scene, like we're in Lake
Exactly,
Tahoe.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's this beautiful sunset, and there's fog on the lake.
Exactly.
A whole
but
new scene.
let's see. I think I have an image that might not honestly be usable. Let's see. Well, we can definitely test it out. So I have this image here of this pirate ship here that's, funnily enough, in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay. I think it's off the shores of somewhere near Ghirardelli Square.
Oh, yeah, it was like an exhibit.
Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of a history nerd.
Oh, are you really?
Yes.
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
like a exhibit, I'm going to say like World War I, but that's not true. Exhibit
That's
about
so cool.
when they used to use these kind of warships.
Yeah. David is asking us if we can flip our phone and use it in
I
landscape.
saw that. I've never tried.
I've never tried. Let me see.
I don't think so, but let's see.
I think part of what's great about it is regardless of whether or not the UI will flip that way, you can still move and rotate things that way that you need, like in the pinch and zooms.
Yeah, that's true. Like
So
if
once
you
you
need to
like
get
select, yeah. Let's see.
super in there.
Yeah. Like if you have to, oh, maybe not, but
No.
yeah, unfortunately no.
But
let's
if
see.
that's something that would be important to you,
Oh yeah.
there is a feature where you can suggest features that you would like. So if you're, have one of those huge iPhones that you do want to rotate, or huge Androids that you want to rotate, then you can suggest that as a feature for the future.
Let's see. Yeah, we have some boats docked here now, so that's really fun. Let's see. I'm gonna edit this mask a little bit, so I'm just gonna hit my quick select brush, hit that minus, and I'm just gonna kind of get rid of that. Yeah, perfect. Wow. Yeah. We got rid of that.
So
All
easy.
that fine. So now this boat right here is sitting on our ocean of fog. So I think that's so cool. And I think to that point, I'm actually just gonna take this layer back here, or at least our ship layer between the fog and the mountain. I'm just gonna kind of sink that down so that I think I just wanna keep it fog so we're not kind of competing with different elements of our composition here. So then it's kind of hard to see. So I think at this point, I'm going to attempt to use a blending mode. So let's see if I can do, let's see, an adjustment layer, and let's see, brightness and contrast for now. Let's see. Okay. It's increasing it all for my composition so far, and I think it's actually just because the adjustment layer is applied not on the ship that I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this adjustment layer. Let's see if I can move that up. So unfortunately, what is on the iPhone is not on here, is being able to kind of move between these layers just with ease. I'm gonna have to, let's see, because I know as I'm moving them up here, I'm just kind of selecting these layers. So maybe I'm just gonna delete this as a whole, and I'll just do it again over the ship layer that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna.
And if it's something that's not available now, just as a reminder, this app on Android is a beta app.
Right.
So it probably, hopefully, will be available soon. But again, something you can suggest if you're looking for that.
Right. Let's see. It is still affecting, not necessarily. Oh wait, that's all great. So I'm going to hit clip to layer below, so it's only going to affect this ship back here. So now you can see a lot more of those details than you could when the adjustment layer wasn't there. So for everyone's starting out kind of in our mobile Photoshop. Let's see, I'm gonna hit hide and then unhide to see those differences. Oh man, it's almost as clear as day. But I'm gonna make some more edits to that adjustment layer. Let's see if I can. It's getting a lot harder because I can't just double click on the adjustment layer, but I think that's good for now. I actually quite like that you can see it in there as well, but let's see what else can we add here. Let's go to image layer and let's go to Adobe Stock. What does Adobe Stock have in store for us today?
Everything. All the possibilities you could think of.
Let's see, I kind of want to put in another ship, but maybe like, let's just see what it'll give me, and let's hit search.
What is this poster for? Is that part of the surprise?
That's part of the surprise.
Okay.
I'm
We'll
kind
get
of
there.
excited
Stay
to see. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? Thematically, it doesn't make sense that there's a pirate ship and that there's a freight ship in the background. So maybe that this angle here of this pirate ship we can replace. And I think I will do that. So what I'm gonna do is, again, hit select area, tap to select. It already has my ship selected out.
That is my favorite part about this app
No.
is that it already has the subject selected and it's super easy. You
Look
don't
at that.
have to do
Let's
any
hit apply as mask. Oh,
crazy.
that's really nice. Let's see. I think if I was starting out in Photoshop and tap to select was a thing, I would probably have used Photoshop a lot more.
Yeah, when you were a second grader.
Yeah, exactly,
using
exactly.
Photoshop.
So I'm gonna hit unhide here. Just maybe we want that option later of having that ship, but for now I'm just gonna hit unhide so it'll still exist in our composition. And let's see, our schooner under sails, sailing. That's the title of the Adobe Stock image. I'm going to select that, and I'm just going to, let's see, is it on the? Oh, hit undo. Thank gosh, that is also available here.
In undo we trust, right?
Yes, in undo we trust. So let's see, I can move this around. Fantastic. So I'm going to
Oh yeah, that looks good.
I'm going to drop this behind our fog right there, and then hitting transform.
Kind of looks like it's sitting behind the fog.
Exactly. It's kind of in the horizon, sitting along with those mountains right there. And again, we have this ship here, but again, I think I'm going to adjust the lighting here as well. So what I did earlier with the ship that you can no longer see, that has been replaced by our pirate ship in the background, I am going to add
An adjustment layer.
an adjustment layer.
Amazing.
Exactly that. So I'm going to adjust the brightness a little bit to match with the rest of our composition. I'm going to drop this contrast a bit. Am I? Let's see. Yeah, I'll do that. And then
It's kind of making it like flow with the background a little bit better.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. And I think for me, what mobile Photoshop has really helped with is, again, I love vector illustrating. So assembling and kit bashing these parts on Photoshop is going to be so amazing for me, because I'm then going to kind of go in, I'm going to draw over these parts, which will make everything a lot easier, especially if I'm trying to put these out faster, especially for social media.
Yeah.
As an artist, I know a lot of people do that as well, kind of in the industry of making like concept art as well. So kit bashing on the go when you're doing a research trip, I think is really nice. So again, let's see, I'm going to hit clip to layer below, so it'll only affect that ship in the background. And wow, I can't believe that it's been able to get kind of these finer details of these lines here. It is honestly really cool. And let's see, yeah, so we have these pirate ships sitting on this little fog lake, and we have our hills in the background, and maybe, I think I want to drop, do I want to drop this down a little? No, actually, I'll keep it. Maybe we can hit skew and distort to see what we can do with these in the future. So let's see, we can add this angle here, just, again, when you're doing this for art and then maybe to paint over it, kind of understanding the shapes and what you want to do with it, I think is super important, especially when it comes to composition.
So you would use this as like your base layer for your like illustration composition?
Exactly, yeah. Especially if we're making a more fantastical world that needs those real life elements.
Yeah.
Building that out in Photoshop with those real elements of pictures you've taken, I think really add to that story you are telling, not just in the poster, but with yourself and kind of what your story is with your artwork. So again, these are all pictures, save for the pirate ship in the background. Again, those are just kind of elements we're adding in. They're part of my personal life, and I think that part is like really important to me.
Yeah.
But again, I think maybe we can even add to that point about skewing. Maybe we can give these clouds some direction. so that they're a little bit more interesting. I think I'll keep this for now. I actually quite like how this is kind of like
getting
going
artsy.
along with the shape
Yeah.
of this mountain here. So again, it's adding some direction to our poster. So I think that's really cool as well. And let's see. Let's see. I want to kind of maybe attempt adding like a cityscape back here.
Okay.
So maybe adding some buildings, some rectangles. So I'm going to hit image layer, add from Adobe Stock, and let's just look up. Do you have a favorite city?
Ooh. This is a loaded question.
This is a loaded question.
Let's do New York.
New York? Oh, that's actually great, especially for kind of this idea of travel that we were trying to instill, and that you want to go with this physical, fictional place.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's see. Is there a good skyline picture I can pick from here? I'm trying to find something that is just on the horizon, just similar to this, but maybe because it's New York and like there are so many pictures that exist of this city.
Yeah, we could scroll
I can
for
find
ages.
something that will kind of blend in with.
That one's kind of like a cityscape. Yeah. Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, I like the background kind of matches.
Yeah,
too.
sometimes I get, is it One World Trade Center? Mm-hmm. I get it mixed up with Salesforce Tower here
yeah,
sometimes.
I can see that. I can see
Because
that.
it's, the shape is, no, it's not even similar. I can't even
No,
say
it
that.
kind of is. Yeah.
So let's see, I can expand this out and maybe we can, these are posters, so these are just kind of meant to be fun as well. So they don't actually have to be scaled for whatever place we're building here. And again, like this is a fictional place. Like this doesn't need to be real. I think that's what makes it magical. So I'm going to, let's see, hit city or tap select. Sometimes it'll even define what these are here. So I
it got
already
like
hit,
all of the individual buildings.
got all the
too.
buildings. So we have our cityscape in the background there, but it's clashing a little bit with our ship here. So maybe I'll find a different ship to replace it because I think kind of these elements of these masts here that aren't, like, I don't know, like good shape language like this one, where you can see all those triangles and those different polygons. You kind of miss that out here. So maybe I can find something that'll fit that better in the image layer. So let's see, add from photos. Oh,
I like how you're just like trying new things with it.
Yeah.
You know, like originally that ship was like the highlight of this poster.
Right. Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, we like the background.
I think what's so cool about especially being able to not just do it on your desktop and have all these images on your computer, but again, doing it on your phone, just letting that kind of artistic process just like flow and letting it take you where it needs to, I think is so important and something that I need to remember more, especially when I'm making personal artwork. Because I think it's so amazing where like if you start like a personal project where it'll take you in the end, 9 times out of 10 you're a different person, just like ever so slightly in great ways. So I think
about all the time too we like spend on our phones.
Oh my gosh,
and if we
right?
could be creating something cool instead of scrolling.
Yeah, and like I could be doing
where
this
could that lead
like
you?
on my commute or like on the BART because we're here in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Between here and where my commute would be like 40 minutes, but I would be able to start instantly on my phone. I don't have to wait to go home to open up my desktop. But
And what I do love about it is like everything you're creating here on the phone will also move into the desktop.
oh my gosh,
So when you
yeah.
get home, you can like refine it the way it
That's
needs
the
to
best
be.
part. Yeah, it's really great that we're able to do that. And oh my gosh, let's see. There's so many pirate ship pictures I can pick from. Let's see. Man, I don't. I'll try this. It's a little different. We have some direction or like some angles with my original picture. So I'm gonna try
You could flip
selecting this.
it,
I could flip
skew
it.
it, yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're so right. I could definitely do that. Great point. Let's see. I'm gonna select this first, and I'm just gonna move this up in our composition. Oh, I think I just hit down. I'm gonna move this up in my composition just so I can see it. Oh, I just clipped that on accident. Let's see. Oh wow.
Okay, this one we might have to like refine. Oh, you're clipping it to the other ship.
Yeah, no, it's just the tech where it's making me, my fingers could be too large for this, so it's making me accidentally clip it. But let's see, I'm just going to edit this mask. Oh, it's because it's selected a completely different thing. So let's see, I'm going to select this here, select area. Because it's a white background, maybe it'll have a better time selecting, and let's see, apply as mask. Oh, that's nice, I like that. So I'm going to resize this, and I think I'm just gonna drop this where our original ship was. So I'm gonna go back into our layers. I'm gonna hide my original photo just because, you know, I think I want that option in case this ship doesn't pan out. I can have that there. So let's see. I'm going to flip this on a line. Wait, can I align? No, I'm just gonna flip this horizontal and then I'm going to move this up in our layer so you can kind of see our ship here. Kind of like that there's this like size difference between this one here. I don't think I even need to show all of it. So I'm going to move that there, and then with our ship in the background, I'm going to move it in frame here and then drop it down a little bit because it is, you know, in the distance. So I'm going to
Playing with the perspective.
yes. And let's see, I kind of like that this is a little flat, and let's see, let's play around with, as you mentioned, the skew. Let's see what we can do.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that gives us the angle that we want, especially if we're going to draw this out.
Yeah, like
we don't
it's
necessarily
coming into
exactly.
the frame.
We can add those 3D elements later in my illustration. So let's see. I'm going to push these out. Oh yeah, it gives me. It kind of follows that line of the ships as well, which is really good. So I'm going to kind of fix this skew so that it's kind of aligned with our elements in the back here. And I think like even bringing this into Illustrator, that's kind of where I like to do my type explorations, to do kind of like a logo or for this poster. So I would maybe like even drop that where this kind of foliage is sitting here. And then I would, I don't know, give it some like fun name to explore with. So this is kind of what we have right now. Let's see, I'm going to select this, our cityscape kind of in the background. Let's see, I'm going to just move this ever so slightly up. And you can't really see some of these elements, which is a little sad, but I think that's okay. Let's see, I'm going to, again, this is our fictional city. New York is just our placeholder, so I'm going to. Our inspo, exactly that. So I'm going to kind of skew this ever so slightly so that we can see some of the city skyline moving with kind of, again, these hills that we have here, so that it kind of shows that it's in the background. I think like a city that like is perfectly against a hillside is Hong Kong. It's so beautiful there, but also like these hills, these lush green hills just decorate the cityscape oh so perfectly. So let's see, I'm gonna fix the skew a little bit, drop some
I really
parts
feel like
here.
this is stuff you could like play around with all day.
I know, right? Especially with, if you're trying to like learn perspective, I think it helps a lot just being able to like play around with it. I think it's so important. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, where you can kind of see it's hugged in the background with our main star here, our pirate ship, and let's see. Oh, maybe I can even, to kind of get rid of this foliage here, I'm going to select an area. Let's see. Can I do like a rectangular select? Yes, I can. I kind of want to get rid of
The foliage.
the foliage, I think. So I'm going to kind of just ever so slightly, let's see, I just need that little edge there. So I'm just going to select that with this rectangle. Hit select, and I'm going to do generative fill.
Ooh.
Let's see. Can I just do, Cyn is a lot better at
prompts. Yeah,
prompt generating than I am. So let's see, I'm just going to hit cloud.
Cyn is like the
Send?
firefly cloud. Might
Yeah.
be too short. I think it's gonna tell you it's too
I think it's
short.
going to tell me it's too short. But
You could say like, what are we looking for? Like sunset clouds.
we're looking for just to replace our edges, our foliage.
We just want clouds.
Yeah, let's see if it'll, oh my gosh.
Oh, it did it. Oh,
It
that
did
looks
it.
great.
Oh,
Ooh.
and yes. Yeah, so
It knew what you wanted.
I think that's really nice about, more specifically, like AI generation in Adobe products too, is that I think like anytime that I've kind of attempted it in like different programs, you need to understand what like prompt generation is, but at least getting your feet wet,
Yeah.
Photoshop and kind of Firefly as a whole is great to kind of understand that, or at least to start to understand
Well,
that.
what's nice about it is the generative fill. It's taking context clues from other things
Right,
in the composition, so it can read the rest of the composition and know kind of what you're looking for with just
Yeah.
one word, which is really cool.
Yeah, let's see, I'm gonna just hit undo. I meant to, let's bring this forward, not that much forward. I'm just going to make that sit here.
It's kind of giving me Peter Pan. Like,
Oh my gosh.
the pirate ship
you're
is
right,
coming
you're
to
right.
New York to take away the children to Neverland. In a great way, like in a fun
We're
way.
making our new folklore essentially. Let's see.
That could be the once you illustrate it. Could
Exactly.
be the theme.
I'm going to hit, let's see, this is kind of just me like looking around, seeing what we can do. I'm going to hit rasterized layer so that it kind of just turns into what I need it to. Let's see if I can, I think I rasterized it so now it's no longer a generative, but I think I want to play around with the mask. So I'm going to hit edit mask, and I want to kind of just do the quick select brush. I want to get rid of these edges on this cloud. So let's see. Oh wow, yeah. And keep in mind, like this cloud was AI generated as well.
So you just wanted to get more like integrated with the background.
I want to integrate it with the ship so it looks like it's in the depths
Yes,
of
that did it
those waves
so
of
well.
ships. Yeah, it did. And I think, oh man, let's see. I want to give it another go. Let's see, because I know with the quick select brush, you can make edits to the size of the brush.
Yeah.
And I know the hardness you can switch so that maybe
Oh, it
this
feathers a
will
little
feather
more.
it a little bit more. So I'm going to maybe add just a little bit more to then take away in a second, especially with the edges that are around the pirate ship that you can kind of see here. So I'm just gonna hit minus. Yeah, it's kind of already feathering those portions there. Oh wow, it's doing it like very smoothly too. So I'm discovering a lot of these features like while I'm doing this
Yeah,
too, by
I mean,
the way.
it just came out
and
today.
and I think that's kind of the joy of being able to do this on your phone now. Like, I think like with all this power at our fingertips now, like there's no reason we shouldn't be exploring these different
Right.
worlds that we could be telling, and being part of that process, I think makes us like better human beings, better storytellers as a reason. Let's see.
That looks so good.
I know.
It really took it to from being like a bunch of different parts of a photo into being like an actual photo composite.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like, again, it's like, where is this concept taking us? Where is it going to take you as a creative to kind of further your exploration yourself? So let's see. I think, I'm now in my quick select brush. I'm just getting rid of these kind of like harder edges that you see around here.
And you're masking the boat.
The cloud.
Oh, the cloud, okay.
Yeah. So that the cloud that we generated is above in the layers section. It's above the ship right here. So you can kind of see that all right there. So
Yeah.
that is really nice. So this is kind of the composition that it's giving us.
I love the sky. What you
like.
did with the sky. At first, I was like, "What is happening?" But now
Right.
it looks cool. Really
I think
cool.
like when I'm sitting on a beach, like especially if there's like wind, the directions of the clouds can really kind of feed into the environment that is kind of happening in front of us and unfolding. So I think those parts always make a destination for me. Let's see. Oop. I think tapping to select will be my eventual downfall, but not today. Not today. Let's see. I think this can kind of stay right there, and I think I'm going to, again, I don't want to hide some of these elements and block certain elements that I will illustrate over eventually, because then those are just like competing, and I don't want them to. So I think just having the ship here hug into, I think, again, like adding that direction, I'm just going to like really play with some of these transform options, hit perspective. It'll just do all of that.
Ooh, that's
Really
nice.
nice. Let's see. I think I kind of want something that's more like it stays the same horizontally, but really stretches at the top. So again, pulling that forward and scaling that. Oof. Oh, I like that. And it follows the direction.
Yeah,
It
of the
adds
sky.
something a little bit more, and that's really nice. Cool. Now, I think this is a composition that I really enjoy. So now I mentioned that we're gonna now try to play with color because I am so
Oh,
bad
yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
Now that we kind of have our compositions down in order, we're gonna go for this like orange, pinkish sunset vibe. So now I'm going to, let's see. And if anyone has any questions, feel free, drop it in the chat. And we'll get to answering those, especially kind of about the different parts of photo compositing that we're doing here.
There was one question about, and this was a little earlier, but about the schedule for today. So we have our session that we're doing right now, and then we have another session with Cyn after this. And then after that, we have File New and Office Hours. So just stick around for those. And then all of the community shows that were originally here on Wednesdays got moved to Fridays, I believe. So check our Instagram. If you don't already follow, you can send us a follow. But our Instagram has all of our schedules for our live streams.
So cool.
Okay.
What do you know off the top of your head? What are some of the new shows coming?
Oh, we have a lot of new shows that actually just started. One of my favorites is the design school that was actually supposed to be today, but got moved because of this stream. Design school is with Maddie. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't. I've been meaning to.
Great. Because it's like, now that we're out for summer, if you're in design school, you might be out for summer. It's like a great crash course in something that you would learn in design school.
Right.
So if you're getting started in your career, that is an awesome one to attend. We also have Magdiel's on the spot. Do you know Magdiel?
Yes, I have met him. Yeah, he's
one
great.
of my favorite
He's so
artists.
fun.
He is so approachable, so successful. Join his shows. They are on, it looks like the next one is on Friday of this week. And he is great to ask any questions that you might have. What else do we got? We got a Meet the Teams on Friday if you're interested in Premiere Pro. We have some of the Adobe team members coming in to answer questions about Premiere Pro. So
I need to get better at Premiere Pro. I'm ridiculously bad at video editing. So if you ever watch my reels, it's like
don't say
I'm
that.
trying not to think about it. But
okay,
jumping back into our hue and saturation here, honestly, you kind of just gotta play around with it. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I am pretty bad at it. I started with our main, so I was kind of moving around this hue slider here, and then I noticed that they were, like some of these greens were popping up a little bit strange, so then I went into more specifically the greens and started playing around with it. But this is ultimately something I'm happy with, but you can see that it's changing the colors of the background and everything that's under this color or this adjustment layer. So I'm just gonna clip this below right here. Wow, so it blends in perfectly with the sky that we have there. So I'm going to kind of, just to see that and see that change,
Yeah, let's
I'm
see
going
before
to
and after.
hit this before and after. Okay, let's see. This was our, this was something that I meant to hide. That's right. Let's see. I have so many layers at this
I think
point.
it's that top one? No?
It's this one right here.
Oh, that one, yeah.
So
here,
this
here,
is what it looks like now. It's blending in with the background. And this is what it looked like before. So you can see that it's a lot more blue because, again, the sky that was behind it and the sunlight, it was like taken at noon. But now that we unhide this layer, it blends in. It's orange. You can see the brightness.
Yeah.
Where the blues where it's orange now. So that's kind of replicating what is in the sky. And
Totally. And the boat, too. Kind of.
yeah,
like,
and the boat, yeah. And let's see, I'm going to do this one next because, again, this is like kind of our center point here. So I'm going to hit adjustment layer, hue and saturation. Let's see, let's just slide this around. Oh, there's a party going on. Let's see. Oh, wait, this pink?
Oh, yeah, that makes it flow
Let's see.
really
What if
well.
I just bump the saturation up? No, I'm not going to do that.
Too pink.
Too pink. Almost too red now because it's so, let's see. And then kind of doing that again, I'm just going to hit clip to layer below. It gives us that little warmth feel, and we can kind of see the difference now.
Yeah, just in the sails, too.
Yeah, in the sails too, yeah. And then again, in those hue and sats, you can definitely, let's see, you can edit these a lot more. Let's see, can I edit these straight up right now? I'm having a little trouble finding that. Maybe if I double tap.
Maybe because you
Layer properties. Why wouldn't it be that? Yeah.
That's it.
So you can just move this around, play with that more. Like these yellows are controlling kind of, again, these yellows here, the present here. But again, like me personally, like it takes a while to really find it. I'm still learning myself.
Yeah. What about the lightness down there?
The light would, sorry?
Go back to the properties.
Right.
Since we're playing around.
Yeah, might as well.
Lightness down there.
You can
does
see
that
that it's
do? Okay,
affecting
it's like
those
darkening
specific
it,
colors.
yeah,
Yeah, because we're
making it
selecting
lighter.
yellow. But again, this is kind of, this gets you like a perfect white silhouette. So
Ooh,
if you're doing
yeah.
like a vector illustration and you kind of need that, you can do this and then
Smart.
use image trace on it later. But
Yeah,
I
smart.
love adding detail, and so I kind of need,
Yeah.
again, this is like, has so much information of like, oh, there's shading here, there's wood paneling here, and then wood is at different like widths, or at least like it bends a lot, especially when it's a ship. So you get these different lighting shades here that are like shining off. So yeah, oh, there's a little hole there. I can fix it, so I'm going to. Let's see, I'm going to hit edit mask, quick select brush, edit this size. Oop, edit the size.
And we're
Perfect.
just adding to
We're
the
just
mask.
fixing this
Yeah.
hole here. We don't need this here, so I'm just gonna edit that. Oh, I think there's a hole here too. Yeah. Wow, I
it
just was not
didn't
noticing
get
it.
that little
Yeah.
spot.
Just gonna subtract this right here. Wow, this is really intuitive. And let's see. Oh, it had trouble because I forgot that the
I
background
think
here
it was
is
like
white.
white on white. Yeah.
Yeah, it was white on white, but even just tap selecting
Dude, I
those
love
white.
that like tap select, and it
Yeah.
didn't get those little.
Normally, yeah.
strings.
When you go kind of back and forth, when I hit this, it selected this white, but then when hitting that minus, it's quite literally learning from, I don't want to make any claims about this tab
Of the
select, but
back end of it.
It's literally like learning. It feels like it is, at least. So that part is really fun, and then I'm just going to hit minus on that one, on these two white parts, and it's
It
going
gives
away.
you a lot of control,
It gives you a lot of
which
control.
is so funny because it's literally like you would think with tapping at your
Oh, yeah.
fingertips, it's not as much control, but
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
selecting is definitely easier for me on mobile, which might help to that kind of like cross mobile desktop workflow that maybe some people are looking to implement more. And I think definitely in the future that's going to be me, especially these files are stored on the cloud, so whatever's done on your Android will go straight to
Yeah.
your Creative Cloud. So that part is great. So you don't actually have to figure out how to transfer these files.
I hate that.
I
Download,
hate it so
upload.
much. Yeah. Oh man, don't even get me started. And actually, to that point, with Android from Photoshop, you can do it straight from Google Photos. You couldn't see it here just because I had different options selected, but as I was playing around, you could do that. And I have all my photos stored in Google.
Oh,
So
like
you-
in the cloud?
Yeah, in the cloud.
That's awesome.
So you could straight do that. It's great. So I should definitely look into buying an Android for myself because I think it'll help more with this workflow. And yeah, and that's me fixing this pirate ship here. We have
Yeah, it looks
more of this
good.
detail here, and
I feel like maybe it would be a lot for this poster, but I think it would be cool to show like the text capabilities.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do like a little placeholder before I kind of go in. So, oop, this is kind of behind. Oh, maybe that's. Oh, I think this is clipped in actually. So I'm just gonna hit undo right here.
Oh, yes, it's clipping it to the.
Get out of there, and just kind of go to the top. So I'm just gonna select this, and then I'm going to tap out of that. Type layer so it's on top of everything. What do you think we should call this? Anyone in the chat have
Yeah.
any suggestions while we think?
Give us suggestions because my mind is still on Peter Pan.
Gosh, yeah. I might just say like Cloud City.
Cloud City, yeah, I like
I
that.
prefer things that
Or
are
like floating on the clouds. I don't know.
let's do
Something like that.
let's do
In the clouds.
in the clouds. Yeah, let's just do that. Oh,
But
Oh.
chat, if you have something better, please tell us.
yes, yeah. We'll replace it. We'll replace it
Copywriting
in real
is
time.
not what we're here for.
No, my roommate in LA, he's a copywriter, so I defer any writing and all writing to him. So yeah, let's see. Oh wow, you can even like skew this. So I'm just gonna hit.
Oh, you can make it go along the lines.
Yeah,
that
I
we've
didn't even know
already
that you can
established.
do, because normally I'm not normally designing type in Photoshop, so this is
Right.
kind of all new to me. Let's see, let's edit text. Let's do any suggestions. Nope. Okay, let's see.
We're on our own.
We're on our own.
We're on our own, Matthew.
We're on our own. Cloud. Nope. You said floating where?
Like
Floating
floating in the
cl-
clouds.
floating in the clouds. Let's
or
do that.
in the clouds, I don't know.
Let's just do in the clouds. We can't fit all of it.
Yeah.
We can't have it all. In the clouds. Oh, I'm typing and it's live. Great. Okay, and
My biggest fear. is
In my
typing
biggest
that.
fear. Floating in the clouds. And let's see. Again, Adobe Fonts is coming to Photoshop on Android. It is not currently there, but we have a few type options here that are local to this phone. Let's see what we can do. What if we just do it like all like emojis?
Oh my gosh, cute.
Cute. I'll do.
Yeah, so to reiterate that, there are fonts that are uploaded onto here, onto your phone, but Adobe Fonts is coming
Right.
in the near future.
Yeah, so I'm
That
gonna
looks pretty good.
maybe drop this here
Oh yeah.
as a placeholder text, but again, this stream is all about experimenting, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hit skew, and I'm gonna figure this out. Whoa, that's cool. Let's see, that's affecting all these lines here, so I'm going to just hit undo, see what else there is. So it seems like it's just skew, which is really nice. I think because it loses.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
Okay, what if go back, put it back straight,
Yeah.
and then what if
Oh.
we like copy it and flip it,
Oh, what?
and then
Hold
do
on.
like a little inverse as if it's like a little mirror, it's like a mirrored
Oh.
image.
Hold on. I think I know. So like this, right? Is that what you mean by flip?
Well, flip it again and then duplicate it.
Uh-huh. Wait, hold on.
I'm taking over your design.
Yeah, you are. I have to think this through. So
You
I
know, like,
the
so
steps.
it's like this, and then
Yeah.
there's one below it that's like coming off of it.
Oh, kind of like a drop shadow?
Yeah, like a drop
shadow on
yeah,
the
like a
clouds.
shadow
Okay, I
on
know
the
exactly
clouds.
what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, those are the
I'm-
design words. Drop shadow, not.
Okay, I am going to add some direction here so that it makes sense that we have the
drop shadow.
the drop shadow that we're kind of
Right.
talking about. And
See.
it kind of follows.
This is why I need a designer for my ideas.
No worries. That is exactly what designers are here for.
Oh yeah,
to-
it looks like it's kind of like floating away a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to have this here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, duplicate this layer. I'm going to, wait, not do that. I'm going to move this down.
This was my vision.
This was the vision. I'm going to do blend opacity, and we can just flip through these. Because it's black, it's not really showing me anything that we can use. Oh, let's see. I'm just going to try multiply for now, and then what I'm going to do is drop this opacity. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
It looks like it's like the sun is hitting it. And
exactly, yes. So that it's exactly over our clouds here. Oh my gosh, you are a
Thank
creative
you.
genius.
Thank
There
you.
you go. There you go. Wow. And then
If only I knew the phrase drop shadow.
Okay, let's see what else we can do here. Maybe to add a little bit more. Let's see. Is there maybe like an effect we can do with, let's see, the adjustment layer, exposure.
yeah.
Coming soon. Wow, there's a
Okay,
lot
there's
coming
coming
soon.
soon.
Can't wait to be able to use
This
all of
is
it.
a beta app, just as a
This is a
reminder.
beta
So
app,
if you're
yeah.
seeing things that aren't available now, they will be soon.
Yeah, is there anything that we
I
haven't?
feel like maybe let's change the color a little,
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
let's change the color.
because that's easy in hue and saturation.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, text options. Let's see, color. Line, you can do line height. Oh wow, you have a lot of capabilities with this. You can even
Nice.
add underline, you can add strike through. Wow, that's cool. I'm like flabbergasted. This is actually great. Let's see. And in the clouds, okay, I think this is our original text layer, so I'm going to do text options. We can change the color here. Oh, you have the color wheel and everything.
And sliders and swatches.
Whoa. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Let's do a pink.
Yeah,
oh, wait,
to match this.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We cooked with this one.
We did.
That was probably my first time I've ever
I want you to know that I just learned that phrase. We cooked. I thought it was a bad thing, but
Really?
I'm glad that I know now. It's a good
It's
thing.
kind of like when people used to say like we bombed. Sometimes they meant it in a good way. Other
Yeah,
times they didn't.
Like it was bomb.
yeah,
It's
exactly. That's
great,
That's
but
what
like
I mean.
we bombed is bad.
Right.
Learning lingo here on Adobe Live, the cool kid lingo.
Exactly. Okay, I think I'm gonna change this color here too because it's just a straight black, and I kind of want it to get kind of more of that information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do oh wait, no, I can just do text options, go to this color here, and then play around with it as well. So you can see that even though it's multiply, it's affecting this as well. So let's see,
So cool.
I don't want a direct black because in all truth, shadows are not black. So we're gonna want to choose maybe just like a dark orange. So there we go.
This is
Yeah.
amazing that we made
Oh
this
yeah,
all.
wait, let's check this out.
50 minutes.
Boom. Yeah, this
And,
is great.
Like, tell the people what you would do with this afterwards. Like, where would you take this next in
Yeah.
your design process?
So the great part about this is that, well, first of all, I would make a copy because I love just keeping iterations. I would make a copy, delete all the layers that I don't need, and then just port it over to Illustrator. Luckily, with the Creative Cloud, PSD files can go straight to AI, and it gives me all the image and layer information still. And with that layer information, then I can lay out kind of my Illustrator process. So
Yeah.
that would mean tracing over these mountains here with one layer, and then it would mean tracing over another with assembling this pirate ship here as well. And again, kind of we've assembled this in layers and kind of to continuing that process in Illustrator. Again, I mentioned that we were talking kind of about, let's see if I can just pull that up here. With our hue and saturation here, we were kind of talking about, oh, we can bump up this lightness here to just give us the shape.
Yeah.
And then you can just image trace that if you don't need all of that detail. Again, I probably wouldn't need all this detail for the city here, so it would just be the silhouette of the city. So in that case, I would do that, and I would just image trace it so it gives us that information to work off of, which is really nice. And again, this is a placeholder text. I would, again, bring in Adobe fonts and then play around with it more in Illustrator because we have that vector illustration or that vector information to then play around with. And that is really, really nice and really fun. And honestly, look at what we made here.
Yeah, great.
This is so
okay,
fun.
I have a question for you. In the last 3 minutes that we have here together with you, I love your journey because you are, newer in your career, but you've been so successful in your first couple of years in your career. So what is your advice to anyone that's younger or your age that's just getting started in their career?
I think the advice that I normally give to people is start a passion project. Make a giant passion project that you can really build out. Because when someone looks at that portfolio, they can see, oh, this is cool, and then they dive into it. They're like, you did the social media marketing, you did the campaign, you did the components, you did all this amazing stuff. And that's actually how I got involved with Adobe in the first place, which I did huge passion projects where our mutual friend Andrew Hockrattle saw that and was like, hey, we want you to come on Adobe Live and talk about this. And that's when I first got started with Adobe Live back in 2023. And everything that I've been able to do so far has kind of snowballed into this amazing journey where I get to work with you guys, I get to come in studio, talk more about my creative process, and get to share all of that good stuff with all of you.
Amazing. So just put yourself out there with your passion projects.
Yeah, then to that point, one more other Adobe shout out.
Okay,
they recently came out with the Creative Career Center, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Tell us, what is it?
Where you as new creatives, as young creatives, get to kind of work with Adobe the way that I did, and you can get involved, have mentorship through that, and I've gotten friends involved, I've known people that got involved, and being mentored I think is super important. And again, that relationship, I have with Andrew and Nick Longo of Office Hours wouldn't have gotten me here without their support. So I think that's super important for new creatives.
Thank you. Well, check out the Career Center if you're interested in launching your career. Maybe our mods can drop it in the chat, but it's just behance.net/resources. And stick around. We have one more session highlighting all the things that you can do on the iPhone app, or excuse me, the Android app.
The mobile app.
The mobile app.
The mobile
Because it's
app.
available on both. Yes, Photoshop on mobile. So stick around. Cyn will be back, and we'll talk through some more creative journeys on your phone.
Woo.
See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
What I want to accomplish here today is be able to explore the photography perspective of AI. So already I can see some things here are not absolutely vital to the storytelling within my photo. I want to be able to remove this. So the lasso tool is one of my favorite things. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can even add by holding shift to that area. Let's go into generative fill. Generative fill isn't just to fill in areas, it also removes things from the space. I'm just gonna hit generate because I don't need to tell it to do anything particularly. Not only do I get a pretty accurate result, but I also get other iterations. I like to approach my post-editing with AI with a rule of the REA. I want to be able to remove, expand, and add. So if I want to remove something that isn't helping my storytelling, remove first, right? Expand after, and then add towards the end. So I rather take this off, so I'm going to just hit generate. You can see that on the outside area, I've selected that frame as well to give AI some level of context. Let's move on to generative expand. You can just make a regular selection. And in the prompts, I'm gonna actually add blurred plant. Yeah, so you get that depth of field as a result. If you don't like this one, we could always delete it, remove that one, and keep this one, and just hit generate again, and it's gonna give me another result. Let's open this one up. You can see that I have all of these obstructions. So one of my favorites is the remove tool. You can see there that I've made a selection, but nothing has happened. That is because I removed this remove after each stroke option, right? Or you can select it so each time I make a stroke, it's going to remove an element. My ultimate favorite these days is generative fill because it just knows how to figure out all of these elements all together. I have a 5-pixel feathering on purpose so that when it makes that selection, it has a little bit of blending happening. I'm gonna expand this scene because you can see she's a little bit crowded. Let's clear this ratio so we can go freeform and maybe go back to our old school 1:1. We are working non-destructively because we have our file here, our original file, and each step is recorded along the way. If maybe this option wasn't that great, I can still go to properties, select that, and select a different option. So at this point, I like to hit Shift-Command-E to create a version that is completely flat. I created a selection of my subject and the object. Holding Shift, I selected both. So I created a mask there. That is the inverse selection, so that's the sky. I can make a request. We could ask for motion, blur, clouds. We just need really specific nouns and actions. So let's open one more here. Instead of using the lasso tool, I can be very, very specific and make a selection that is based on a shape. Draw a circle here and generate something that mimics that shape. For example, a moon. I can create a big selection here. So I'm gonna put reflective orb. It's not gonna output something that is square or rectangle because I created a circular selection. This image, for example, I can do a couple things to help improve this image. The first thing I'm gonna do is remove this because I no longer like it. If you can walk away with anything today, is definitely how can you introduce these tools that is gonna help you, one, achieve speed, so that if you're a solo creator, a small business, a freelancer, you're able to have more time for peace of mind, which is so valuable. And two, how can you create new collaborations and new partnerships? Because now you can. I'm super happy to have been here with Adobe.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back for our final stream covering Photoshop on mobile. I don't know why that's such a mouthful, but we'll be going through some more creations on the mobile device, and we're here with Cyn. Cyn is back. Hi, Cyn.
Hey y'all. If you saw my first stream earlier, Thank you for being here all this while. If not, we're gonna touch base on some really cool stuff, no matter what, on this. And I think Matthew did a lot of cool stuff too.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of cool stuff to be done.
yeah, so we're gonna be doing a collage, playing with typography a little bit more.
Cool.
I love doing collages and literally everything. So
Yeah. Are you seeing this collage as like just something cool to have? Is it a mood board? Why are we collaging today?
I've been loving doing posters in general for like films lately, just to get an inspiration. I also live really close to a cinema, a theater, so I pass by and I'm like, wow, I love how they use the type there. And so I've been kind of just doing it for fun, I would say. There's no real purpose, but it's a good buffer place to be like, practice your layout design, practice your typography, because sometimes they select like questionable type and I'm like, wow. I'm acting like a rookie
How to
right
improve
now.
it.
Yeah, so
nice. Yeah, Matthew was just saying like the best way to go forward in your career is to like pick a passion project and just get really good at it. So I think this is like,
I second that Matthew's strategy. I know it sounds very dreamy-like, but honestly, it has garnered me some projects. Like I have projects I just played. I was like next to my pet, like just my dog, just like creating something, and suddenly someone says, actually, that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So try it out. Let us know if you do, because that would be super cool. Cinderella stories. So I've got here a couple of things. I wanted to start this time in the homepage so that it can help you navigate like how I bring assets in here. So in the homepage, there's this really cool welcome to Photoshop, which I watched all of them.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a nerd, but also a lot of my friends are in here. So Gabriella's in here too. Like I love that these tutorials being embedded in the workflow.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to step outside. We all know how distracting the phone could be. I've tossed this phone across like, you know, the room. I was like, I don't want you. I want to work on art and productivity. Yeah. So this doesn't always feel like synonymous with that, but this has been fun because it kind of shifts that perspective.
Ooh, a potential thing that they could do with this. I just downloaded this like language learning app, and you can turn off all of other notifications so you can just focus.
Nice.
That would be very cool.
That is my cup of tea right there. So definitely check out these tutorials. They're absolutely awesome. Like I looked at some of these and I was just like, you know what? I want to make this. Like this is from Gabi Yanku, and she made this really cool surreal collage, and I absolutely loved it.
So it just goes through her process.
Yeah, so it opens the document immediately, and so you get to basically peruse through all of the files and get a little curious. Here's like, how did this work, and how did this file? Of course, this is being downloaded, so it'll take a little while, but this is pretty cool because it's all different assets put together, and so it's not a singular image. I think a misconception people have is that when you use generative fill in any way, you have to generate from 0 to 100, which is not usually the case.
Yeah, and we were just talking in Matthew's stream about how it's cool when you generate because it takes in context clues from what's going on in the composite.
Surrounding,
So it's like it's a smarter workflow when you use it that way.
I think I'm going to begin to add some of these assets in here, but one of the things I want to say is like you can start from a brand new canvas. So right here, create new canvas. You've got all of these different social layouts, and specifically if you're going to publish on Instagram or thumbnail images. I actually really want this to flip so I can design my YouTube thumbnail images here.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
That would be amazing. So I'm sure if we're talking about it, this type of things happen, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's a wish list here always.
Yeah, of course. And they're always taking suggestions. Like we want to make products for you all, for the artists. So please feel free to drop in suggestions.
Yeah, just drops real suggestions that get to real people can be really awesome. Don't drop it in a comment on Instagram. Like nobody is gonna look at that.
No.
Maybe somebody will. I don't know. But I feel like that is productive. So I created a canvas here, and so we've got a clean canvas. The first thing I want to do is start to add some of the images that I'm gonna bring in here as inspiration. So I'm a photographer, and I absolutely love taking street photography. I think I may be a little bit biased and more towards like anything in the next to an ocean.
Okay.
So all of these photos are from that. So if I add photo here. So it takes me to all my folders, which honestly, one of my pet peeves with Android is that it doesn't showcase it in the order that I built them. But I did put a folder together for all of these images.
These are just ones that are native to your phone. Like they live on your phone.
Yeah, so I created this folder here. And then the only thing I think it's like a bit of a pet peeve is that it's not alphabetical. But other than that, I made this folder specifically for this. So you can organize yourself like that.
Nice.
That lives in my device. That is device specific, not app specific.
Yeah.
But this helps me because then I can navigate, and hopefully soon we'll have access to Lightroom photos.
Yeah.
That is another way that I love creating. So all of these photos came out from Lightroom. So I have, let's see, we're gonna start with.
These are gorgeous,
Oh
by
wow,
the
I
way.
left my sticker outside. I wrote notes and I left it outside. I wrote notes on a sticker outside. Okay, so the first photo, here's how my rule of thumb is that the background photo it's either a pattern photo or it's not overly complex.
Okay.
So when I look at these
Because
photos.
it's your base layer, right?
Yeah, so it's your base layer. So I look at this photo right here, which is the ocean. You know, yes, it's filling the entire thing, but if you squint your eyes, there's not a lot of complexity here.
Yeah.
So I like that as a base layer. I mean, look at that ocean. Y'all have this ocean. It's the Pacific Ocean.
I can't, yeah, gorgeous.
It's like, oh, thank you. Brought me the sticker with the notes. I don't know who this artist is, but I'm taking your sticker because this is really cool.
I think this is a tattoo from our Max thing.
Oh, it's a tattoo?
Yeah. Last
Okay.
year at Max, we
Say
had
less. I'm taking it.
we had like stick-on temporary tattoos.
Yeah, I put a bunch of them on.
Anyways,
so
I
I'm
digress.
gonna go to this one and continue to add photos here. So again, gonna go to my Photoshop folder.
You're building the composite right now.
I'm just building the composite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There was
mobile
a
Photoshop here.
comment about that Marcy isn't sure she'll be working on the phone because it's so small, but if she does,
fair.
landscape would be preferable. Yeah, I totally agree. Landscape would be preferable. I would try it on the phone. You'd be shocked, I feel like, about how like intuitive it is to stuff you already do on your phone. So even though, yeah, it's a smaller screen, it might feel more intuitive than you think.
That's interesting that you say that because like we do operate this device so much that even there were some things that I did that were intuitive to me that I was like, oh, let me scroll through the layers on the right side.
Yeah.
And though
it's
it
the
wasn't part of it, like some of it felt so intuitive, I found the tools.
Yeah.
Like,
It like translates well into
Yeah.
like this phone language you already know.
yes, exactly. That is a thing, like a phone language.
Yeah. I always say that about the Adobe ecosystem too. It's like a language, and once you
Yeah.
start to learn the language, it's a little bit easier.
Okay, so we're bringing in 3 photos so far. We have the backdrop. We have what I call kind of like the foundation image. Like this image kind of just helps center everything together. But then
Yeah.
this is our portrait. So this would be our hero because we've got a subject that's
Yeah.
interesting, and absolutely love this photo. But I'm going to make it a little bit more collage-y.
Can I just say I love your photography because I love how you it is. Like everything that you take feels like, oh yeah, this is
Thank
from
you.
Cyn.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, this encounter was absolutely beautiful, and that's what I love about photography. But there's something really unique about bringing those as ingredients and not like stopping the photography there, but
Yeah.
like it continues on.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I? All of these photos are from the same location, from a same moment, from a same experience. How can I unify them? And sometimes that inspires me to create something. So here on this one, I'm gonna go into the select tools. I think these tools are pretty gnarly. I love the fact that you can select the subject immediately. Sometimes operating these types of tools on a desktop makes me feel like, no, there's no way this can live in a phone. There's no way. Like I don't think it's possible. But look, like it selected the background just like nothing. It's like adding to selection. This is because I tapped it. Tap select is another way to select stuff. But it also kind of created this mask for me beforehand because it knew that I might potentially select him or someone back here, maybe to remove. So it is smart enough to detect what you might select.
I love
also.
that it detected too where the color changes between his shirt and where it's like darker.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like that could have easily been cut off right where that line is.
Right.
But it still knew that it was
Those incidents
his.
do happen. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh, maybe this is not a good candidate of a photo. for
Yeah, but you
this.
can always add and subtract from the masking. So it makes it really easy.
So here, to remove that background, since the subject is selected, it's all you have to do is apply a mask. And that mask is going to prioritize what you have selected.
Yep.
Which is interesting because I'm used to kind of like thinking if it's selected, my intuition is that it's going to cover that, but this works a little bit backwards. So if you're a Photoshop user on the desktop, you might experience but this feels more natural, trust me, on the phone. So from here, what I want to do is I'm going to bring in yet another photo. Wow, chica. So I'm going to bring in one more photo here. Adobe Photoshop, it's already there. Oh no, it's this one. Photoshop.
There's
mobile.
another comment about like using this on the iPad, and yes, there is an app for Photoshop on the iPad, so you can try things out there.
I think the iPad is actually really fun. I brought it with me. I love doodling in it in Fresco. So I'm gonna bring this photo. This time I'm gonna put this photo on top. So we're building a bit of a cake layer. And so the order of the layers is gonna be important. So how do we even know the order of layers? This is a phone. This should it have layers? Well, it does.
Well,
and
yes.
it actually really functions. It has a lot of functionality. So this layer is right now at the very top. I can choose to bring it to back and continue to send it to back and bring it back to the front. And this is something you have to press a button for. You can't just drag it at the moment. But what I like is this first button right here. It's a clip mask button. So if I place it on top of anything, it's going to mask based on that silhouette.
So cool. Yeah.
And
so
so
it masked to the subject.
Yeah, so then that lives kind of in there. So if you want to put things inside of a boundary box, it could be very, very much like something simple like a circle or a silhouette of a person.
It could even be like on the background, the brown background, like where the blue spaces are. You
Right.
could clip to that as well.
To that as well. So let's say we wanted to do that. I'm going to do that really quick, just as theory. Because what happens here is that the layer order is important.
Yeah.
So let's say I wanted to clip that image to something else. So we wanted to clip this image, here, this one, to this image, which is the sand image. So we're going to go here and hit clipping mask. Doesn't seem like anything happened because they're the same
They're the
shape.
same shape. Yeah.
But here it is. It's inside, so you can always play with how they interact with each other. I think what I'm asking myself usually is, how do these elements interact with each other? What can I do?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this one back to top.
It's cool because I feel like clipping masks like that is a pretty, at least intermediate, if not advanced
It is
thing
a pretty advanced thing.
in the photo or in the desktop app, but here it's like so simple because it's just a few
Wow, that is a
clicks
good
of
point.
buttons.
Yeah, because on the desktop app, I have noticed a lot of people take some time to get to know the
It
masking
just
tools.
makes it a little bit more accessible.
So as soon as you said it's more like kind of more pro level.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, but here it feels like kind of
doesn't.
intuitive to everything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep it there, and now we know it's inside the frame, and now that we can go to the one below it, and we can still kind of scale it and shift anything we want here. I ideally wish I had scaled it like about here, because I think that looks like a more natural silhouette. So what's inside bounding boxes, what you bring outside of bounding boxes, that could be instrumental to thinking, where do I place things? So I'm gonna put here some type, because I think type is in order. So let's put a type layer, and I'm a little bit obsessed with rest lately, like recognizing that rest is also productive.
Love. Yeah.
You know, because it can feel, I think as an artist, you can feel pretty guilty to play as opposed to work.
Yeah, especially if you're a freelancer, right? And you have to like put yourself out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments where you kind of have to build those boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
And rest will fuel that creativity, truly. I have tested it. I am like testing in the lab rat, you know, like I generally try different workflows for myself so that I can stay pretty connected with the work that I do, not, you know.
I mean, and like I said, it shows in like your photography that it's like feels like you because you're connected to it.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. The fun part is like you look at your work then and you remember that time you were in your life. I'm gonna put actually another text here and I say rest is productive.
Love.
Yeah,
This is gonna be a great background, like a phone background or something.
Yeah,
to remind you.
I actually made the one that we did earlier. I made it a phone background back here.
Love.
So yes, absolutely. Imagine you make a bunch of phone backgrounds and share them with your
Yeah.
your audience. Rest is productive.
Yeah, like as like a, some people have like sticker clubs, but if you had just like a background giveaway every month could be a good way to engage with your audience. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you've made this now in 16 minutes, so it's pretty quick.
Yeah, so you can just make it like it. Honestly, you'll probably really enjoy this process a little bit more because you'll tell yourself like, hey, I'm making this for my audience to have as a gift, but it also isn't taxing to my time.
Yeah, it's fun.
Because it's fun. Otherwise it doesn't get fun. I've heard all the qualms. People are like, oh, I want to make this, but it just takes too much time, and time is valuable, okay?
It is.
So we can't deny that. I'm gonna go in here and make sure this is, so there are a couple of tools here for the text alone that you can use if your, attention to detail is just pro level. You wanna do some text options like the sizes, the line height, which is more typical to paragraphs, the tracking, which has to do with the distance of the characters. So if you're trying to look fancy, open up the tracking space between each character.
Fancy.
Fancy. I mean, I went to Amsterdam once, and I was just shocked how much everything was tracked. Like even in their money, or like letters were tracked. I was like, wow, y'all are another level.
They care about the little details.
I'm trying to find a place for this guy right here. I think I'm gonna put it like around there. Yeah. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to add some elements. So I think I'm gonna select an area here. One of the things, I got a tattoo in Hawaii.
Ooh.
It's of a hibiscus. It's behind my arm. You can't see it. But so I want a hibiscus in here somehow because I didn't take a picture of hibiscus.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go here and do a lasso tool. And I like kind of filling in the corners of things. And one of the things I like to do is either generate something completely sharp or blurred, as kind of like imitating that depth of field of a camera if I had taken, had put something in the foreground. So blurred hibiscus, and I'm gonna say, oh look, there's the hibiscus, so cute. I'm gonna say pastels are often a good word to cue in. So hibiscus, tropical, sometimes if you're too specific, something like tropical will always yield something nice because it's just like a overall concept. And then blurred, tropical, hibiscus, pastels. Sometimes it honors that blur, sometimes it doesn't, because it's like maybe it might be a little confused, but yeah, we'll see.
Do you think in this case it will take into account the other assets that we already have in there, or will it generate just from?
It definitely will like listen to the fidelity of the lighting.
Yeah. Okay.
The color palettes.
Oh, yeah,
usually,
it did, for
like,
sure.
So you have like this one has more of like a blur.
That one did good on the blur.
And this one's a little bit sharper, right? So it is trying. It's like, okay, there's some shadows here. Let's try to create something, some more there. But there's always going to be a better chance that your generation looks more blended if you do it after you've designed, because you have so much more that the AI can learn from, or that it can read in your canvas.
Go off of,
So context clues, essentially.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that third one.
Oh, that one's
Yeah.
cool. So that one has that blur, it's pastel. I feel like it's blending really well. So I'm gonna say, I think that word, that one's great there. I love it. So that word productive, I might want to put it down here. Actually, rest, I'm gonna embed it down here. So one of the things that's cool is that you can also, I'm gonna raise this all the way to the top so it's not behind the flower. There you go. You can also blend your text in a different way. So something I might want to do is go here and let me see. Layout design is a funny thing to do fast. But here, I'm going to go into that text. I just want to show you what is possible if you do this. Okay, so here we go, rest. And in rest, we're going to create a mask, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do. It's going to give us all of these different options pre-selected, but in this case, I'm going to go use the brush tool.
Okay.
And the brush tool is cool because, it's up to your fancy. If you want to make it a smooth brush, that option is still here. It's pretty robust, honestly.
Yeah.
And the size, we can make it like around there. And then something I often do on desktop is I like to blend my text, like the base So I might go then in here and select this area. Now, this usually means that I'm erasing that area, but I realized that on mobile, it prioritizes the selection to visibility. So I'm gonna select the areas I want visible instead.
Okay.
And then hit yes. And now it has this kind of like
Cyn.
blending mode that I feel like feels a little better. Like potentially it says best.
Yes.
So type legibility is important. But it's really interesting to me to like use masking also on type. to
Wait, can
change
you do
things.
that again?
So it's funny because it's still a working file. So you can still edit that mask.
Yeah. So you just created a mask of the rest,
Yes.
highlighted what you do want to see.
Yeah, just what you want to see.
What you wanna see,
And
yeah.
you can select any of these tools for it because
Right.
basically if I wanted to create like a quick little circle right here for whatever reason, then that is the area that would get masked and selected,
Yep.
you know? But I mean, I did it before.
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Again,
yes, it helps
that
to blend.
is kind of a pro workflow.
Pro level
Like it is a little bit
workflow.
pro level, and you
Yeah.
can do it so easily on the phone.
So I want to show you like a different variation too. So that one looks really cool. I want to do something else here. So I'm going to create a new canvas, go into custom size. I think in here is interesting because you can go as big as you want to. And I often like seeing things like this, like 300 ppi. You're telling me I can print this?
That's crazy.
Like, that's pretty cool all
Yeah.
the time. And then you can also set things to transparent. So that canvas for you, all of you who like to create like drawings or illustrations, I want that clean background. So I'm gonna do pixels and I'm just gonna do maybe 1080. I could have easily chosen a template, but I just wanted to show you that because I feel like I like control. I like to know
Yeah.
that it can do a lot of different things and I'm not gonna run into hiccups because I think I become like a little kid. I'm like, oh, another problem, oh, another boundary, and I just give up. Like, so I need that we
Control.
say creative workflow, but it really can sometimes not flow.
Yeah.
So I try as much as possible. So let's see, we're gonna add text here. And this time, let's change the color to something brighter. Okay. Okay, so lorem ipsum. I'm gonna write, this part always confuses me because I'm used to double clicking and then that helps me write it, but there is an edit text feature. So I'm just gonna say art is art is art. Love is love is love. I just want to create a body of text.
Art
So that's why I'm doing this, is art. And just to play more with typography and we can see what is possible. They say to practice typing live, so I'm doing it. I'm doing my
Like I
homework.
said in the last one, my literal worst nightmare.
Yeah. So, okay. I think that is about fine. And I just want to show you what we can do, for example, if we increase things and do maskings. So I'm going to increase this, something like that, and then go into one of the selection tools. Oh, by the way, the transform tools are pretty cool too. So in transform, we can use skew, which I think can be really interesting to play around with, especially if you're trying to denote speed or urgency. I don't know, there's something about that because we're working in 2D. When you get properties like this, it can help define more three-dimensional effects. And so here, what I originally wanted to make was a selection. So let me see, why can't I see it immediately? So it means I have to drop down that menu and I have to go in here and select the selection tools. So if you don't see your bottom bar, it usually means you're inside a file. And so inside a file, so I'm gonna do a quick circle here, which is I think what I was trying to show you earlier. And if I select that circle, okay, that's simply art is art is art is art. And we're gonna just press here, select. We've got that selection in there, and then we can do apply mask from here. So that's gonna prioritize that mask in there. And of course, we still have this text available, like it's still,
can move it around.
it's not deleted.
Yeah.
So that's important. I'm gonna add an image here from, this time from the Adobe Stock. Adobe Stock is pretty cool because in general, I think I struggle like browsing things on the internet, on the internet from my desktop, but here, like, you know, you can just look here
It's
and
like intuitive.
yes, it's more
Scrolling.
intuitive and just favorite things that you like. I don't know. I like taking the time to do stuff like that. So when I come in, I already have a bunch of ingredients I can play with. So I love architecture. It's just so beautiful. Like this one's really nice. So sometimes you just want to make like a bold statement, but you know, you don't want to have to source your own ingredients. Then you have Adobe Stock, you have type choices that you can still make to make something look really intriguing. I do wish that there was like a snap moment. Don't know if that's possible, but there is this, which is gonna let you like scale from the center
Oh, nice.
and also flip it, you know, vertically or horizontally. In this case, it's very symmetrical. And so we're gonna send this one to back. And now it's starting to look a little bit more vibey. Art is art is art is art.
This is so cool, Cyn. Can you
Yeah.
please share these with me so I can make them my background?
Keep editing.
I need a new background.
I know, right? Sometimes when I get a new background, I feel like I got a new phone.
Yeah.
And it just like helps me save some money. Yeah. So I'm gonna see here in this type if I am able to move things around. Look, you can always disable the mask right in here. But there's a lot of options in here. Like you can enable the mask again, convert it to smart object, which will protect the type ultimately. Maybe like Matthew said earlier, transfer over to the desktop Photoshop and continue that workflow there. That could be really cool. So I'm gonna enable that mask again, but what I think I wanted to do was, because I don't know if I can move it inside that mask.
Like move it so we can see more of the art. Yeah. Art is art.
So I might have to make like a bigger circle but it's different with clipping masks. So for example, if I did a clipping mask here and disabled this mask instead, that the way to do that would be to place a circle shape.
Yeah, and then clip it to the layer below.
Right. Can we place shapes? Don't think so.
Yeah.
Edit, add, transform. I don't think I can.
You could get a circle from stock.
Stock. That was my next. Let's go get a circle from stock. It's funny when you work into like, wait, hold on, is that possible?
There's always a workaround, I feel like.
We can make it into the shape of that fish that was there. There's always this one's kind of organic. I like this one. It's like a brush.
Yeah.
That one's watercolor. That's super cool too. Maybe some of those textures will come through. So what I'm trying to do here, which is opposite of clipping mask, but very similar effect, is I'm gonna do, opposite of masking, a similar effect is a clipping mask. So I'm gonna have that text circle above the text. So hopefully that's gonna help me merge them. Hold on, we gotta go layer properties. Gotta remember that. Okay. Now we're here and we're gonna do clipping mask like this. So now that mask is inside of here, right? So that texture kind of went over. But if we sent it down and we did the type to clip mask, then that clipping mask now lives inside of it. So ideally I would like to do this on a regular shape, on a regular circle that is neutral. Yeah. But I do like the texture a lot. So I'm gonna just go back to this one right here. Yeah, that's good for now. All right, so moving on from this one, because I just wanted to really show off
all of the
clipping
mask.
Yeah, options here. So another image that I really wanted to do was, I have this photo that I absolutely love because it was during sunset. But I wanted to some horizontal photos just don't work for certain environments. Yeah. So I like to bring in some of these photos. Let's see, it's this one. Writing, Photoshop format, okay. So I have this photo here, right? So pretty.
So pretty.
But that's still my horizontal version.
So it's not getting the full picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely love that photo. But I think I have some other ones that are more horizontal. Oh, that one's really pretty. Can't decide. Okay. Y'all need to help me with the decisions here.
I like the bottom
boat or the transparent?
Transparent.
Okay, this one.
this one's gonna be the one. Okay, so these folks were playing soccer and I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna turn off this layer with that little eye droplet, and I'm gonna just bring this photo here at the bottom, check, and we're gonna duplicate it using those 3 little buttons, take it up, and right away I can just rotate from here. I don't have to go to a rotating tool or anything like that. The transform just really helps me navigate this pretty seamlessly. So I can just size it from the center right there. So I just want like something like that. And then I'm just gonna make sure these are mostly symmetrical. So I'll transform this one too. From the
Watching
center.
your creativity right now is like so relaxing. I feel like I'm at like a spa.
Because I have this voice.
And the
People-
picture is
I put
like,
people to sleep all the time.
no, in like a great way. I feel great.
Yeah, it's like an ASMR thing. People have told me I should do it.
Well, also
But-
the photo, the vibe of the photo is very like calming.
It is
too.
pretty calming, I guess so, yeah. And so I'm gonna go here and select this middle area because now we have no middle area at all. And I'm just gonna select it and then just hit, I wanna hit just generate, can we do that?
Let's do it.
Look,
Just hit it. See
should
it.
I tell it what
I
to
feel
do?
like it will blend the 2 images, right? Is that the thought?
Yeah, that's my goal, so that there's some kind of space in the
Yeah.
center. I think when I don't add a prompt, it might add objects that I don't want.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
it just extended the bottom photo.
Uh-huh.
But I wonder if that's because the bottom layer was chosen.
So, right, you're right about that. So if we merge them,
Yeah.
is that possible to merge them? Merge down.
Can you flatten?
Yes, merge down. Okay, we're learning things on top of teaching things. Okay, so we're gonna select this area too. I think my selection could also be a little bit more refined. The select rectangle could be feathered a little bit right here, and then we can make that selection.
Yeah. Like
And-
we were talking about the context clues, like you do need to add in a little bit of the...
A little bit, yeah,
Yeah.
a good chunk. I was generous with mine. So I'll just say a clear sunset sky. Yeah, keywords that I really like for prompts is like sky, blue, minimalists, things like that, because then it would reduce the amount of random distractions that
Yeah.
it might generate, which
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, wait, what?
Why
How?
did you add this?
Yes, and so I rather tell it as much as possible, like the options that I want.
Ooh,
That
that's
looks
really
cool.
pretty.
That's
That one's really good.
wow. This one really like went out of this world. This one's cool too, right?
Yeah.
Hit more. You know when I like it,
Just
I
keep
just
going.
gotta keep generating.
Yeah.
And somebody told me it was free, so
For
I'm
now.
doing
Yeah.
it.
For now.
Yeah, this is the time to
Yeah,
download
explore.
it, and just try everything. Like just go as far as you can and see what photos have been just kind of collecting dust in your phone. Because there's probably
That one.
ooh, that one really like is the exact color. But do we like the opposite color contrast?
I kind of like the contrast, but it's your photo. Don't let me decide.
I'll be like, Megan told me so.
I know I was like telling Matthew what to do in the last one. I'll
Yeah.
take over your project if you like.
So I want to create an element in the center.
Yeah.
And I think it could be kind of cool to create like maybe like a mountain or like a sun. Sometimes I like creating illustrations on top of a photo. So
This is so cool.
maybe a sun. So I'm gonna say a drawing of a sun, hand drawing. No, drawing of a sun.
You know, I haven't had a lot of luck with the prompt hand drawing.
A drawing because the word hand is in there. I think.
maybe it
Of a
doesn't
sun. I'm
understand.
just gonna hit generate, but like I might think of other symbolisms. So I think about symbols like, okay, the sun was really prevalent, clouds, maybe there was a lot of heart in this strip, so a heart could
Wait,
be
where was
pretty.
this trip?
Hawaii. It was the first time I went, and I was
But
really
that was recently, right?
yes, I
Yeah.
was really missing the ocean because I live in Texas, y'all. That's it's awesome in so many respects, but yeah, the illustrations didn't do so well.
Wait, I like that.
I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna be like, I rather request, a
It's
generate.
silly.
I'm gonna ask my niece. I'll be like, draw me a little sun.
That would be cute. Yeah, a little.
Okay, so let's try a different thing. I don't want a sun. I might want like a heart, anatomical heart.
Oh no. Do you have autocorrect on your phone?
Anatomical heart with, yes,
Drawing. Oh, should I not draw the drawing? Let's not do drawing.
I don't know. I'm scared what's gonna give you without the drawing.
Why are you scared? You're not
That was
helping.
like a real heart. Just like, gross. Oh yeah.
Okay, no. It was like, no,
We're not gonna give you a heart.
Okay, so to be fair, when I generate in the same place, it's kind of like, it has a database.
Yeah. No,
So-
I've noticed that too. If you're not getting what you want, you sometimes have to like clear
You
it
have
out.
to like clear everything. So I'm going to do
I
that.
think you're gonna have to write drawing, or it's
Redraw
gonna,
it.
or it's gonna tell you like we don't do that.
I got a heart before.
Really?
Yes. Look what.
You have to draw the shape of it. That was
like-
pretty good, actually.
I'm so fixated now on this heart. Oh, hold on. Anatomical heart. I just swore I just think like my last prompt was more interesting than just anatomical heart. But it just gives it, no. Okay. We tried.
Yeah, I told
you.
She does not want to give you.
I'm going to put the word heart because
Okay.
I can't seem to win on generations.
Looks like we lost connection. Maybe plug it in. Is it plugged up?
It's plugged in.
Hello. At least you can see it here.
Here, there. You can see it. Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna do something too serious here, but you can see here I've got my text. Let me see if I can move it around. Yeah, there you go. So let's bring this up and do that same trick because I feel like here it
'Cause I love
doesn't
it.
blend. And because you love it, yeah. And there's also art in the word heart, which is kind of nice.
Ooh.
So I might go in here and change this. Can I select this?
Just the art part.
Just the art part?
I don't know. You might have to make it two different.
He art.
No, we don't want that. Oh,
Mirror display. And then
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Tag folks at work, you know. Applause in the chat. Okay. And then we're gonna do a create mask on this one.
Okay.
And let's do like something like
I'm gonna make so many posters with this blend effect. Don't be surprised if my whole Instagram is this now.
let's do like a wave here. Something like that. Oh, do remind me that like
The opposite.
it's
yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah.
So I keep wanting to do it. Oh gosh, my hand drawing skills. Heart. You can also zoom in. I'm just not in the practice of it. So, and just press select, press yes, and that's what that looks like. You
I
know,
think we need to add the feathering.
The
right?
feathering.
Yeah.
yeah.
Again,
Megan
me,
doesn't
me
approve.
telling you what to do. Sorry.
Megan doesn't approve. Needs feathering. But this is a good imitation of like, you know, what happens
Your
in real
client,
life.
your needy client.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's make client happy. So let's do feathering on that lasso tool, which for a second I thought, does a lasso even need feathering? But it's here and they thought about it, which is pretty cool. I don't typically like get detailed with feathering on lasso tools. It's usually like,
But we are today.
but we are today. Oh my God. I lost it. It's like you have to have confidence with your hand.
There we go. That's good.
And if you have one of those like pen androids, lucky
Oh,
you,
yeah.
because apply mask.
Better.
You know?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So now we have, I think we need a better color palette, but yeah. Oh, you can probably airdrop, no, I guess you can't. Sliders, there we go. Something like
Oh, yeah. Nice.
We've got different swatches also. I have a swatch saved from the past. So that's, hey, that
Oh,
was
that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do that heart on this one. And I think this one's missing a little bit of that foliage of like the tropical environment.
Yes.
So let's do a few quick generations on some foliage. And again, we're gonna do the select area and do maybe like a quick, no hand drawing things, I promise. I think a little bit of green on each corner tends to help, but I'm gonna do it one by one because
Yeah, you don't want to.
yeah. So I'm gonna say blurred. So this is a trick of mine. It's a secret, so don't tell anyone.
Tell me one. What's the secret?
Blurred foliage, green, tropical. just the blur element. I think it's always about creating depth in a poster, however you can, because it is 2D, that when someone sees it feel 3D in any which way, it feels much more interesting and appealing. So I like to add blur elements in the foreground and frame the image. So you're still using kind of like some composition rules because you're framing images. That's why I choose a corner, not the center.
Yeah.
But something like this. Remember, this is a poster, so it has a lot of room for you to, I don't want to say creativity, but for you to go out of bounds of what you shot. That's how I give myself like permission to just create something, is to tell myself, okay, this workflow is honoring the journalism of Hawaii. And this other workflow is honoring my experience of that experience in Hawaii. You know, it's totally different.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay with that.
It's like your experience, so you can do whatever.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. So blurred foliage, green, tropical, that's what I wrote, tropical trees. Yeah, so that's something I absolutely love, putting like little edges or flowers or things like that are bouquet. I do it actually in camera too, and I just like tried, I was like, oh, this looks nice, but what if I got behind an element? That would change things completely. So that already is kind of bringing you in. It's like, oh, there's some depth.
Yeah, that looks good. I love the blurred tool. I'm gonna use that from now on.
Right.
Or the blurred, not tool,
Blur, just the blur
lingo,
prompt.
yeah.
Yeah, the blur prompt in here. Okay, cool. So then I'll make one. Let's see. How are we doing with time?
We have about 15 minutes
Okay,
left.
cool. Great. So then let's do, earlier I was trying to do this like fiery thing, but it didn't work out. I'm going to do this here. I want to emphasize the word art.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's with design? You can either, you have it in your head and sometimes it works out and sometimes you're like, wow.
No. Yeah. Wow, no.
Wow, no. Yeah, that's happened. So I was trying to do the bubble, the transparent bubble earlier. Transparent bubble. I feel like glassy with, no, that's it. I kind of want to put these people like, I don't know. I really like how they look. They just, I slowed down my shutter, and actually there's a video version of this too. And they were just playing soccer and everything looked like super blurry and like nostalgic kind of. There it is. It did it. Oh, but it didn't keep my art. But this one is a good one, because what could happen here is that I can use the blending tools and go here and blend it beneath.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's do it in a way where the other elements disappear. I think I saw one here. Let's see. I saw one there. There. Linear light did it. Pin light did it. Because it removes all those other elements. Let me see if there's some more. Ooh, that one's pretty interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Ooh, that one really did it.
Could you? If you just made it, yeah, I could.
So technically I can just like put it anywhere. Because
Yeah.
just the visibility. And of course, like if these edges really bother me, because this one accentuates the glossy part more.
Yeah.
If that really bothers me, then I can always select that circle a little bit better, or select that area. I wonder if tap select might help me here. So go to tap select and then computing mask. And so it just selected the circle. So now I can be like, okay, I don't have to wait. And then here, invert. And then I think here we would have to erase it.
Yeah.
Don't know about delete.
Yeah. Delete. Or like
Clear
not
selection.
delete forever. Yeah.
Clear selection?
No.
No. Delete, adjust area, retouch, fill area.
Try delete.
Where's delete?
I don't know.
You're like, no, go with delete. I was gonna add a mask is what I wanted to do, but y'all.
Well, it's interesting because I think we're working on a generative layer, right?
Yes, so that's why I'm so intrigued
So
that I'm not
wondering,
able to. Oh, potentially I can in here. It already has a mask, maybe. so you can't go any further if it already has a linked mask. You can't add convert to smart object, convert to layers. Click layer, delete.
There it is. No, it deleted the bubble. That did not work. Please don't listen to me anymore.
I was feeling so heroic just then.
I wish that it worked. I wish that it worked.
But it will. It's just my selection was the other way. So it's all the way in here, y'all. Wait. Did that work?
I don't think so.
Blending it is.
Just from Chick of all trades is in the chat. Hi,
if you
Jess.
figure out that, so essentially the crux we ran into is this is a generated layer in here. So it's a different properties. Like you're working with something completely new. Like this. So basically we couldn't find a way to select those other things, but that's fine because I'm gonna use a blending mode. If you find a loophole to this,
please
tell me. Don't let me like live an entire year without knowing this. Like I need to know.
It always is something too that you could like bring onto your desktop because it does transfer over easy.
Oh yeah, that's right. If not, we'll add it to our wish list.
I wonder if you could remove the background and it would get rid of all of the like stuff around the bubble. Oh, that one looks good.
This one?
Yeah.
Linear burn.
If you put it on
I think the best one was
this. No.
that
Yeah.
hard light, soft light, vivid light, linear. There, no, pin light. There.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
Pin light was the best one. Yeah, it even blends here. So I think
Just saying, what effect are you trying to create? I don't actually
I
know.
really wanted to emphasize art. Y'all are making me feel like I'm a bad artist.
You're not. No, no way.
No, I promise.
It's me telling you to delete things.
Delete. Yeah, I think it's just like me trying to experiment with like what is possible here.
Yeah.
So like, I think the earlier one, oh look, emphasize ear. The earlier one, I was just trying to.
It's kind of giving me like Galinda vibes.
Galinda vibes. I try to follow some rules when I create something, some bounding rules, not too many. Like I like to add symbolism, I like to add type, I like to create layout design.
Yeah.
So this is me just on a whim, grabbing in text assets from generative fill, from Adobe Stock, and ask myself, how can I follow that same structure of creating a layout, adding elements. So the rule that I go by is my own rule, is erase, adjust, and add. So basically, like you erase things you don't want, you adjust the color palette, and then you add elements with generative fill, with textures, with anything. And that has always run through because like I think it's hard to create something from scratch and make it look good. There's 1,000 ways to make it look bad. It's kind of shocking sometimes to me. Like, I'm like, wow, I think I'm good, and all of a sudden I make something bad again. I don't know. That happens to me often.
No. Okay, we have about, what time is it?
5 minutes.
5 minutes left.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Is there anything else
all
you
you
want
need
to
is
show?
5 minutes. Who knows that song? I love that song. Yeah, it's okay, so hold on. I went to Drive, but I'm gonna go add from, oh, I love this photo. I'm gonna go add from stock. And I just want to show you guys, let's see. Oh, look, we had a bubble right here. That is actually really good. This is interesting because I often look for textures in Adobe Stock, but I don't usually look for like singular items. I look for textures like this one, or like, it's like a full-on pattern. But doing like independent elements, I tend to go into Illustrator, bring them over, stuff like that, but this is giving me like a new found respect for Adobe Stock.
Yeah. When it comes to photo compositing especially.
I think it's just the perusing through your phone. The things, it makes it just a little bit more like
Easier
to look at.
Because you're already perusing your phone anyway, so might as well look for stock images to use. Okay, so what are you doing?
Okay, so I was just gonna create a background here.
Okay.
And then I wanted to show like what happens if we create that masking tool. So hold on. How quickly can I do this?
I feel like the theme of this, I don't know if it was meant to be, but the theme of this stream has become masking tool.
Mask.
Using the masking tool.
Mask. reveal.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm gonna scale it as quickly as I can and not ruin it by pressing this little button.
Nice.
Reveal.
And that was the scaling from the middle. Yeah.
And then clipping mask. That's what I wanted to do. I'm gonna bring this one up here and take it up and clip mask it. So like it lives, basically it lives within that texture. And I don't know, I feel like this gives me a lot of room to just maybe add texture to text that I didn't even think about beforehand.
Yeah.
And make it look a little bit more natural.
This is cool because I feel like you can bring this into any project across like the, you know, Creative Cloud, like whether it's in Express or Illustrator or Premiere Pro, you can bring these kind of elements and they're really easy to make here on the phone.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to bring ingredients from different places, but I think in here it covered a lot of places that you could just grab the ingredients from without stepping outside.
Yeah.
And that usually makes me happy because I get distracted really easily. So something that's interesting is that it selects all of the different types.
Yeah.
So you don't have to make that selection yourself. So let's say you select the letter L, reveal, it's the only L right here. That letter L, and I want to say something like it's not available for clip layer. So because I clipped it already, it's not available. Okay, so I'll do it on the bottom layer, and then I'll just say something like
we're adding a generative thing in the
sparkly.
last 3 minutes into this letter L. How exciting. A sparkly texture. So you're just
yes.
changing the texture.
I'm just gonna change the texture to
Yeah.
see like if you can select specifically text,
posture.
not just select specifically text and not just like create a random selection. You can select the text itself. See, was that it? The generation?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Anyways, the point is there's a lot to play around with here.
There's
and
a lot.
a lot of possibilities of things that you can do. Okay, last
Yes,
minute.
last
Any
minute.
advice that you have for creatives getting started?
my favorite advice is replay every live stream on Adobe Live.
That's
Have-
great advice.
Mostly because I love my first live stream. It was fun, but I like it too.
Yeah, we're just fun.
But I just like generally I think it's interesting to have like passive time and just listen to other creators create.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different workflow to get to the same exact answer. So just listen in. It's a lot of fun.
Even just listening in today, I feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like
I'm like ready to go make some
she's gonna go make some more backgrounds. And
Exactly.
Stuff. Yeah. So definitely stay in touch with me wherever possible. CynLagos.com is my favorite place to fill in with a lot of goodies and stuff, resources that you can benefit from. I also teach classes on Skillshare. I'm working on an AI class on Adobe
nice.
Firefly. Adobe Firefly has gotten a lot of really cool updates and tools, and all of those kind of blend into every Adobe Creative Cloud program. So I think it's the hub, and I've been really enjoying it. So if you want to learn more about how to use that, I have a Skillshare code over on my website. Of course.
Awesome. And the mods can drop in your website so everyone can check it out. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today and learning alongside of us with what you can do on your mobile device. Stick around for File New. We have that coming up next, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.